Wingling flight. This is LSU football.
Trades Green, the lone receiver to the left. They toss it Trades way, and Trades Green muscles it away from a two defenders touchdown. Fighting Tigers. Second down, goal to goal. Shotgun snap. The give to Barry, trying to go left side. Barry got a seam into the end zone. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers.
LSU football on Eagle 98.1, the flagship home of the Tigers. Tonight, from Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa, it's the LSU Tigers and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, here's Charles Hanagriff and Matt Musso.
Staff at the flagship as we take you up to tonight's game between the LSU Tigers and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, I could do my standard open here. LSU's 5-3, 2-3 in the league. Lost 2 weeks ago to A&M, 49-25, unranked. Alabama 7-1, 5-0 in the SEC. Beat South Carolina and Columbia 29-22 2 weeks ago. Ranked 4th in the country in both polls. But there's nothing ordinary about tonight's game for the Tigers. Since last we left you, LSU has fired their head coach, Brian Kelly, athletic director Scott Woodward, and offensive coordinator Joe Sloan. A firestorm of a purge not seen in Baton Rouge since the 1950s. They've also named a new president in Wade Roos, who's leaving the president's job at McNeese, and they brought back the job of chancellor of the Baton Rouge campus, handing that job to James Dalton, who was provost at, ironically, University of Alabama. Frank Wilson is LSU's interim coach, and the term interim underwent intense scrutiny this week here in the capital city. And Alex Atkins, the tight ends coach, will call the offensive plays tonight for the Tigers. If you've been on a 2-week cruise to Alaska, you wouldn't recognize the place. Governor Jeff Landry publicly stated that Scott Woodward would not pick the next LSU coach, and the AD and the school parted ways quickly thereafter, a nice way of saying that he was fired. The school moved quickly to name Verge Osbury as the interim AD in an awkward press conference 8 days ago. 4 days after that, Roos was named president. One of his first orders of business was to remove the interim title from Osbury, granting him the full authority to lead the search for LSU's next football coach. Osbury was LSU's permanent AD, or so it seemed. The following day, Roos, in an interview with Piper Hutchinson, said he didn't know what permanent meant versus removing the interim. He also said he didn't know very much about the Title IX case that caused Osbury's suspension in 2021. So that confused things. LSU quickly moved to clarify, and the next day, Verge Osbury was named as permanent athletic director. Permanent defined as long-term employment that has no predetermined end date, just so we're clear.
Okay.
So now that we've done previously on LSU football, we can get to the game. Alabama's won 7 straight after dropping their opener to Florida State. They're in control of their own destiny in the race for the SEC championship game and the college football playoff. Quarterback Ty Simpson has emerged as one of the 3 main favorites in the Heisman race. Alabama's played some close games, but since Tallahassee, they've won them all, and they head into the November part of the schedule with a lot of momentum. LSU's playing for LSU. The players and coaches realize that their major goals are off the table, but so might be the pressure. After all, the last thing anybody's been talking about the last 2 weeks in Baton Rouge was actual football. There's pride factor and a look toward the future, and maybe an emotional bump that sometimes comes with an interim coach. After all, this is the LSU-Alabama game, Musso. It should always include everybody's best effort.
It absolutely should, and LSU's still a very talented football team. I mean, that hasn't changed. That's the one thing that hasn't changed throughout all of this. Now, what can they improve on in 2 weeks? I don't know. I mean, man, you've played 8 games. You are who you are, but with the regime change, can certain aspects change? The whole scheme's not, but can certain things change? Sure. That give you a shot? Sure. Will it be enough? I don't know. Probably not. Alabama's pretty good. But I do expect a fiery, passionate effort from LSU, man. Coach Frank's got everybody fired up. If you've taken the time to listen to him and then listen to what the players have said about their short time with him leading the program, that part definitely is the positive for LSU coming out of what has really just been 2 weeks of confusion, embarrassment, turmoil, whatever you really want to term it. Now, as you said, finally football to take center stage. That's what we're actually all here for.
It's worth noting that 4 years ago, LSU went to Tuscaloosa as a 28-point underdog under lame duck coach Ed Ogeron and gave the second-ranked Tide all they wanted. A pass to the end zone from Max Johnson at the end would have won it for LSU. Did not complete that pass. They're not anywhere near that big of an underdog today. The spread's sitting somewhere around 10.5. So while they are an underdog, 4 years ago, they went in with a much bleaker outlook and played their tails off and nearly pulled the upset. We'll see if we get a similar effort here tonight. Live from Rouse's, this is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Orderlocks, presented by Supreme Rice. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed for generations right here in Louisiana. And we're at the Odd House every Monday. It's red beans and Supreme Rice. Parboiled rice, the Odd Father's personal favorite. Now let's get locked in with Jimmy Ott.
We have boots on the ground in Tuscaloosa as Jimmy's there for the game. Jimmy, good afternoon. Kind of paint the picture. You've been in Tuscaloosa for a little over a day now. What's the scene like in T-Town?
It's hot. Let's start off with that.
Okay.
It's hot here. I mean, but pretty overcast most of the day, clearing out. Yesterday was downtown was obviously popping. Not quite the LSU presence that we're used to seeing in town. Grilled at EJ's house, which I got two words: animal house. I mean, I don't know how they live like that. So anyway,
kids.
I mean, and his roommate said he went out of his way to clean up before I got there. Lord knows what it looked like before I got there.
When the moms go and say, you you guys live in a pigsty, that's one thing. When Dad does it, okay, then you got to say, look, you're really pushing the envelope. Jimmy, let's start out with the game at Penn State. Indiana is clinging to a 3-point lead, but they just turned the ball over. Penn State's going to take over just inside the Indiana side of the 50, the 44-yard line. Little under 11 minutes to go here. Indiana, honestly, is a little bit fortunate to be in this game. 2 Penn State turnovers that gifted them with short fields accounted for 10 of the points. It's been a fairly even on the yardstick, but Indiana's in a little bit of trouble here, Jimmy.
Yeah, man, and the interim boost, it's real. And they're playing hard. They really don't trust their quarterback a lot. A very, very conservative game plan for Penn State, but doing enough to hang around. And so, and you wonder, because Indiana has one to play with. They can lose this and maybe even one more and probably get in the playoff as like 11-2. Lose to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. And I think that applies a little bit to Texas A&M as well today, Charlie. They've got a little cushion. And, for 2 weeks they've been told how great they are. So, after the win at LSU. So, here it is. And so this is the new era of college football. 14 playoffs, Indiana better win. Now, they got a little cushion.
The top 10 matchup in Lubbock has been controlled throughout by Texas Tech, although after the 26-0 lead, BYU got a touchdown, and they are reviewing this second this touchdown that has it at 26-6. There is a ruling on the field of pass interference, so we'll see what that. But Texas Tech, barring some miracle here in the last 7 minutes, is going to win this game. Jimmy, the only blemish on the Red Raiders' resume is the game that they lost to Arizona State without their starting quarterback. I'm starting to think that maybe this Texas Tech team has got a chance to win the national title. They would have to catch a few breaks, but I don't see anybody that's definitely that much better than them right now.
It would be a tough matchup against Ohio State, and that's probably it, Charlie. And I would think Texas Tech's defense would keep them in it. Keep in mind, they took the lead late in Tempe, and Sam Levis, before he got hurt, had a great drive with 2 minutes, 75 yards, and a touchdown. But no, I didn't do it earlier, but once I saw them against Utah, I took them at plus 300 to win the conference, and they have dominated this game. They really have, because it should be more. They've settled for field goals, and one where they could have kicked the field goal in the last play of the half. They had another drop touchdown. So it's impressive, man. Texas Tech. So good quarterback, got to keep him healthy, but they run the ball, they stop the run, they're well coached, they're fundamentally sound, they wrap up when they tackle. Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, Ohio State might be the one that has a chance to kind of, routinely walk through the playoffs. Yeah, man, Texas Tech is definitely a player in this whole thing.
Penn State going to play 1st and 10 from the Indiana 21-yard line, trailing by 3. Clock is under 8 minutes. Wow. Clock is under 8 minutes now to go in regulation. Georgia, an easy time of it with Mississippi State today. Thought they might get in a sandwich spot looking at Texas next week. That hasn't been the case. Ohio State also easy today over Purdue. That's a 3-touchdown game at the half. So let's get into the 2:30 window and that game in Columbia, Missouri, with Texas A&M going there undefeated. We're going to see a new quarterback from Missouri. You like this kid, though?
I like him. Yeah, I like him. Heavily recruited out of Pennsylvania. I think he was a 5-star. Good size, NFL arm and size. Throws a pretty pass. I mean, a tight spiral. And he was not phased, thrown in there in the middle of the game when Pribula went down with an injury in Nashville. And I think it was like a 95, 96-yard drive that came up a foot short, in the last play of the game. So I think he's got way more arm talent than Pribula. At home will be settled. I'll look to Peyton in his first road start coming up. But today, in this spot, I really think Missouri is a live dog to win the game outright.
Oregon going to Iowa City, where it is 42 degrees, and it will probably be raining for a good bit of this game. Iowa's record in games in November at Kinnick Stadium is very impressive. It includes 5-1 against top 10 teams, which Oregon qualifies for that today. Jimmy, Iowa gave Indiana all they wanted. In fact, you could make a good case they probably should have won that game. And so now they get Oregon today. Ducks, this line has moved down. They're 4.5-point favorites now, but this will be a tough go for Oregon today.
It looks like I'm on the sharp side today. You know, the BYU line went from 10 to 13.5 this morning, and it's moving in the, it's moving in the other direction on this one as well. So, look, we saw Indiana by far their toughest game was at Iowa. So they got a little bit better offense than they usually have, and the defense not quite as strong, a little bit more balanced, roster this year for Kirk Ferentz. But oh no, I really. And where's Oregon's best win? Penn State win does not look as impressive right now. So
it's improving right now. It's improved. Penn State just scored, so it's improving a little bit. 24-20 now with 6:27 to go. I think this is the first time Indiana has trailed in the fourth quarter this year.
It has to be, yeah.
But anyway, continue with what you were saying about Iowa.
You think, I can't remember if they were down, against Iowa or not. I'm not sure, but I wish I had 6.5 instead of 4.5. That's for sure. But it's really. Let me see. Then Iowa did have.
Iowa had a lead in the fourth quarter.
Okay, so they did.
Iowa, yeah,
they did. Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Auburn and Vanderbilt. Auburn, like LSU, today will be playing with an interim coach, a guy that we are pretty familiar with in DJ Durkin. And Vanderbilt, at the end of it's a tough 4-game stretch here, Jimmy. Missouri, LSU, Missouri, and then Texas. 60-minute games all. So Vanderbilt trying to get to their next bye week, and they will play Auburn today. That is a 3 o'clock game on the SEC Network.
Yep, emotional. It's a grind, a 22-day grind for the Vanderbilt Commodores. The LSU game was an emotional game. The next week, game day presence. That one came down to the wire. They escaped because Missouri should have won that game. Outpossessed them 2-1, outgained them 2-1. Just didn't win on the scoreboard. But yeah, I think that. I'm not crazy about Auburn's decision to start the backup. As much as we've criticized Jackson Arnold, he's better than the backup. So, but the interim boost, man, the Power 4 jobs, the first game, they hadn't won a whole lot, maybe one or none, but they've covered all 6. So I like Auburn to hang around in this one. I think this will be, and that line seemed a little bit fishy, Charlie. Vanderbilt, the top 15 team at home against a team that's winless in the conference, I think it seems short, a little suspicious.
Yeah, Auburn actually picked up a win last week against Kentucky, but I can understand how you would forget about that one because it's been the only one.
Kentucky beat them.
I'm sorry.
Who is their win?
No, Auburn. I'm sorry. Kentucky beat them. Auburn beat
Arkansas. They beat 17-point fourth quarter.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
That's right.
Charlie,
Arkansas.
Charlie, do you miss me?
I do. Arkansas. My mistake.
It's what and what? Arkansas and Kentucky.
Yeah, it is. All right, LSU and Alabama. What Frank Wilson very well. You've known him for a long, long time. What are you expecting out of LSU tonight?
He's way more connected to the kids than Kelly. Nothing's 100%, but I'll put it about 98% that they are going to play hard. They're going to play with. It's going to be an inspired roster today. But the issues still exist, Charlie, in the offensive line. And so it reminds me of that Florida-Miami game where Kirk Herbstreit even made the comment that, man, Florida, just with all that's going bad and they can't get a first down, but, man, they're playing hard on defense. And they had the ball in a one-possession game near midfield, and then his game was too long for him. I kind of see that happening in Bryant-Denny today. So I think I'm convinced you're going to see an inspired effort out of LSU. But in the end, the defense is probably going to be on the field a little too long, and I think Alabama's going to pull away. And I think to win by multiple scores, by double digits in this one.
Jimmy's other plays today to go along with Texas Tech, which is in control. Iowa, North Carolina, Missouri, and Clemson. Autolocks brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com. The holidays are coming up, so if you're cooking, make sure you're cooking with Supreme Rice, where you can support our Louisiana farmers as they've been growing, milling, and processing Supreme Rice down in southwest Louisiana since the 1930s. Part of the Climate Smart program that reduces methane emissions and promotes water conservation. You can pick it up at wherever you buy rice, including right here at Rouse's. The brown, the long grain, the medium grain, the jasmine, or the parboiled rice, restaurant quality rice that you can put in your red beans, your etouffees, and getting up here for gumbo weather here before very much longer. For more information and great recipes, go to SupremeRice.com. Jimmy, enjoy the game. Have a safe trip back, and we'll see you on. Well, actually, we talk to you tomorrow.
What up? What up?
So keep this boy straight, man.
I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my best, Jimmy. Look.
Go pick up a mop and help that boy clean that house. Thank you, Jimmy. All right, Indiana got to come from behind here with 6 minutes to go. They trail 24-20 to Penn State. They have the football up at their own 38-yard line. Gordy's next. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members, supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
I'm lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Skull Session. Offense. Presented by Gulf Coast Bank. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you. Now, from the LSU Sports Radio Network, here's Gordy Rush.
The Bears countdown to kickoff about 4 hours and 40 minutes or so, a little under 4 hours and 40 minutes. All right, update before we bring in Gordy. Number 2 team in the country is on the ropes. Penn State leads Indiana 24-20, 3:53 to go in regulation. Nittany Lions have the football at their own 27-yard line. Indiana's got all 3 timeouts, but they need a stop here as they are trailing by 4. All right, Gordy, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, doing great. Been a beautiful day up here in Birmingham. Typical SEC night road game, a lot of rest, a lot of the time in the hotel. Team's going to roll out of here about 3:30.
Let me just ask the obvious question, which was how does this feel different? The preparation for this, Frank Wilson as the interim coach. What does this feel like? What is this going to look like?
Well, to me, a little bit more, I guess, relaxed. It's not quite as tense, and that could be good or bad. Everything that you have read and seen out of Frank Wilson, I think, kind of lived it here. I think this is, a team that's certainly focused. And I'm anxious to see how they're going to respond tonight.
From a football standpoint, offensively, let's start there. I think he's done, maybe 4 or 5 press
I can tell you, I've listened to all of them, cut all of them up.
Okay. He has talked in every one of these about running the football. And this has been a topic all year, Gordy. So, again, with Alex Atkins calling the plays, what is that going to look like?
Well, I think, obviously there's going to be more of a commitment, more patience in running the football. I think you've got to continue to run the football. Even there are going to be times that you're going to get stopped for no yards, 1 yard, 2 yards. You just need to still go on after it a little bit. I think we'll probably see more 12, more tight ends involved. Obviously, Atkins being the tight end coach. And I think I think there'll be less substitutions, I think you'll maybe a little bit of tempo, but it'll flow. From what I've seen, it'll flow better. I think game time to what it's been in the past, the mass wide receivers and packages and specialization will go away. I think in exchange for trying to get the offense in some rhythm. And, $1 million question. We all know Michael Van Buren has had more work. I even got a text from somebody I respect in the business, wanted to know if Van Buren was going to start. I've not heard that. I don't think that he's going to start. I do think he's going to play a little bit. Keep in mind, Atkins had Jordan Travis with him when he was calling plays at Florida State. So he is familiar with that. And I think when you watch Alabama on film, they have struggled with everybody, really, to kind of handle the run and have had some problems with mobile quarterbacks as well.
We talk about Ole Miss and their rush defense, and I think that's what ultimately will do them in. It's a very good team, and I think they're obviously going to make the playoffs, and I think they could even make a run. But when Ole Miss loses, my guess is it will be because somebody ran the football right at them. Their defensive rush number is exactly the same as Alabama's. It's within 3/4 of a yard. So if you think that, Ole Miss doesn't stop the run very well, and they don't, Alabama's essentially, they look like the same thing. Gordy, the guys in the morning have been screaming for power. Since they're not here to ask the question, I'll ask you, from a power standpoint, you looking at any of that? I seem to remember Atkins, they favored the counter game when he was at Florida State.
Yeah, that'd be, is that the use of, how are you going to use the 12 personnel, right? Meaning who is going to be the 2 tight ends in the game. We haven't seen a whole lot of Green really since Clemson, in the run game. And how what runs are different? So do I expect to see some different packages? I do. And again, I think you'll see less 3 wides and more 12 type of personnel.
And if we do see Van Buren, and I agree with you, I think that we will. He is not. Don't expect Lamar Jackson. Okay, he was not a quarterback that looked to run a ton at Mississippi State. But, Gordy, he can put the R back in the RPOs if they want to run some of that.
Well, you have to count for him. Yeah, no, absolutely. He's thrown RPOs, right? And I mean, he's run RPOs. I mean, that's what he's done so well. He really is a guy that also, I think, feels to me comfortable in tempo packages. And, I'm not saying he's not going to be one of our sellers out there. I think that just enough to keep you honest, and he can make some plays with his feet. Look, what you're trying to do is avoid what's going on right now. People are just putting 4 people on the line of scrimmage, pinning their ears back, and going at a spot on the football field because you've got a pocket quarterback. I think you have to, it's option football, right? And so you have to account for him in the run game, and you have to make sure that you're containing both sides of the football. So if they run that zone read one way, you've got to have somebody sit and wait on him and you just can't cheat on that thing. And that's what, LSU was just getting too many times where I think they were too predictable.
What did you think of Carius Kern in his last time out, and what kind of shape is he in for this game tonight?
Well, we saw that he was probable. Was that his last listing?
Yeah.
I'm expecting him to play tonight. I thought he did some good things when, other than when he was one-on-one and A&M had speed rusher one-on-one out there with him. I thought in the first half they did a good thing, and that's what you and I did that post game with you 2 weeks ago. It seems like eternity.
Yes,
but,
it does.
LSU ran the football 86 yards with the two backs in the first half. There's a lot to like in the first half of what happened offensively, and then they went away from the things that worked in the first half, and it snowballed, and then they got behind in the football game, and everything changed. More of that. I think him coming off the football, allowing him he's going to be a good physical run blocker. I'd start with some of the things that worked well in the first half against A&M.
Gordy, what do you expect the running back rotation to look like? And I ask because they are going to lean more heavily on the run, and you've seen Harlem Berry's carries go up plenty, really starting with the Vanderbilt game. I don't want to go as far as to say maybe he's supplanted himself as the number one now, but what do you expect that rotation? Because you've got two capable guys there.
Yeah, I think he starts. I think he's emerged, and Charlie and I've talked about this, the spots we've done. I think Durham's been a little banged up, nothing serious. I mean, you go back to the Vanderbilt game, you're not going to see him get run down from behind, right? I mean, Jordan Matthews is a good football player from, was he from Dutchtown, and that went from Tennessee to Vanderbilt, but I wouldn't expect in a 40-yard race that he's going to come close to getting Caleb Durham, and he did. I mean, Durham has been a little banged up. I think he's benefited, obviously, from having this bye week, so I'm anxious to see what percentage he's at tonight. But I think it's two-back rotation. I think Barry's going to get the lion's share of the carries to start the game.
Indiana will get one more shot at this. They had to use all three of their timeouts, but they're going to get the football back with a little under 2 minutes to go, trailing by 4 at Penn State. We'll flip sides and talk about the LSU defense against Alabama's offense when we return here at Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members. supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Skull Session. Defense. Presented by Edward Jones. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Now from the LSU Sports Radio Network, here's Gordy Rush.
We are here at Rouse's. Let Rouse's cover your game day spread from all your eats and drinks here at Rouse's, corner Burbank and Lee. All your beer, your wine, all your spirits. Come down to the Chop House, the Mongolian Grill, the Fresh Bakery, the Chef's Collection, all your Louisiana seafood, plus all the fixings here. And, of course, we're getting closer to Thanksgiving. Let them take care of your Thanksgiving Day spread as well here at Rouse's. Okay, Gordy, let's talk about LSU's defense without Whit Weeks. We've got a pretty good sample size here. Now, he didn't play against Texas A&M. He essentially missed the entire Florida game as well after the targeting call. So you've seen them without Weeks enough. How does that match up against Alabama?
Well, in terms of what Alabama has done, to me, they've looked more, look like Washington on film. Obviously, that's where DeBoer's from and his offensive coordinator, and they're incredible in the pass game. Simpson has been fantastic. He's been tremendously accurate. They keep you honest enough with 2 to 3 designed quarterback runs, and then he's able to scramble. What's come out of Tuscaloosa the last 2 weeks is that they have not been able to run the ball with any sort of consistency. And I think the combination of that the linebackers since Whit Weeks has been out have really struggled, particularly the inside linebackers in handling RPOs, being spread, what I would call misdirection. You go back to Vanderbilt a couple weeks ago, Pavia did a wonderful job early of hitting the tight ends all around the inside linebackers, forcing them to overreact. They dropped, and then he was able to make a lot of plays with his feet. I'm interested to see how Alabama attacks the middle of the football field. That's something they haven't had to do a ton of because they have 2 terrific wide receivers. They've got a lot of good wide receivers, but we're between Bernard and then Williams, who we expect to play tonight, it's good on good out there. Don't get me wrong. I think they're going to throw the ball some. It'd be interesting to see if Alabama tries to do a better job of being a little bit more balanced on offense, establish some of the run, and then try and take advantage of some of the, some of the problems that LSU's had the last 2 games since Weeks been out, and that's just about putting those inside linebackers in what I'd call run pass limbo, if you will.
Simpson has an incredible 20-1, 20 touchdowns and 1 interception, TD to interception ratio. Gordy, one of LSU's defensive problems has been that they have not generated a lot of pressure on the passer. Only 17 sacks for the entire season. That's 11th in the Southeastern Conference. How might they generate a little bit more heat on Simpson tonight?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. Obviously the defensive ends have been banged up a little bit. You're hoping for a better performance in them to win a couple of matchups. I'm wondering, as pass happy as Alabama's been, and going after the problems that LSU had the last couple of weeks, do we see more of a nickel or dime package, and you kick Perkins down a little bit, where he can be, 1, a little bit more effective rushing the passer, and 2, is he the guy that you're going to spy Simpson a little bit? You can't do it all the time. The guy knows what he's seeing. But one of the problems is, and I worry about tonight, if it's Keys or even if it's West Week, that it has to account for Simpson. And when he tucks the ball and runs, they're not athletic enough to keep up with him. So do we see a little bit more Perkins in between the tackle box tonight because of who they are offensively, and they haven't been dominant in the run game, and maybe you could get away with it there tonight.
Okay, 2 things then, Gordy. Who might fill in for Perkins if that's the case? And then I did want a little bit more from you on the matchup with Alabama's receivers and LSU secondary, because that's just one of those that feels. I mean, you said good on good. It's kind of like something has to give. I mean, you feel great with P.J. Woodland and Monster Delane, who, I mean, Delane's played himself into mocks into the first round here so far through this season.
Well, I mean, you mentioned Woodland. You bring him in the nickel, and if you play some dime, is it Deshaun Spears? And they've gone with a variety of different guys down there. And you just, you stick with the elder weeks on the field, and Perkins or some combination of, that in the front five. I don't know, but you've had 2 weeks to look at it. And what's not working now, and Keys has really been solid, I think in relief in times. The last 2 weeks, people have really picked on him. They've done a nice job of picking on him. And he's had some struggles there. Young player, I mean, he's going to be a good football player, but they really isolated on him.
Gordy, there's been some special teams breakdowns in the last couple of weeks. I don't know if we're going to see, any big changes as far as that goes, but this is right in your wheelhouse. Some of the problems that they've had in coverage.
Well, not doing your job, and two, breakdowns and what have you. Well, being around the staff and getting out to practice once here in this 2-week period, I can tell you that there's been more attention to detail. The entire football staff has been, we've heard this before, they've been involved in the special teams process. It really wasn't that way before. It was the special teams people. And hopefully it's just been more about attention to detail. And when that happens, okay, this coach, full-time coach, you get the right end, right tackle, and you're going to be responsible for coaching these two guys up and watch them during the game. And let's hope that attention to detail is going to have better results tonight.
You know what has always been a very strong strategy to get better on special teams is to play more starters out there. It comes at a cost, okay? I'm not saying that it doesn't, but when you start to go look out there and you see maybe there's one or two more starters on your kickoff coverage or your punt coverage, things tend to improve, Gordy. I don't know if they want to go that route.
Well, yeah, we'll see if there's some change personnel people. And, not to be ugly, I love Chris Hill to death, and he needs to play more on offense. But, he had that swing and miss on that tackle downfield.
Yeah.
I know he can fly, but for me, special teams has always been about defensive backs and linebackers and what have you, that are spending Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday tackling. Jarvis Landry, I think, was the one example. No, I'm not trying to pick on Chris. I think you're going to put your best defensive backs and linebackers that are not Harold Perkins out there. And, this is LSU. You've got 2s and 3s that should play. Your backup nickels, they have to make a difference in that. And so the last couple of years, because I think the nature of the kickoff team, right, and so many times in kickoff team, it's been a non-play. You've tried to get some 3s and 4s out there. So, I think some of that. So we'll see if we see some different personnel. And I'll tell you straight up on the kickoffs for me, kick the ball at the end zone. Kick the ball out of the end zone or sky kick it. Not even to entertain keeping that ball in play.
All right, Gordy, have a good call and a safe trip back, and we will talk to you next week when LSU is back in Baton Rouge against Arkansas.
Okay, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. All right, at Penn State, Indiana has scored, but they're going to look at this. This is a very close play, and I think he is out of bounds, Musso, at the back of the end zone. I think his toe hits the white before his other toe hits the green. This is at the very back of the end zone, right in front of the goalpost.
This will be the view.
And we're going to look at this one more time. It's called a touchdown on the field. Let's take a look at his foot.
Oh, it's not going to be the view.
It is.
Oh,
no, he got the first. Yeah, he did.
That's
okay.
a touchdown.
Yes, it is a touchdown. We're getting a better view on the other side now. That is a fantastic catch and a heck of a drive that was engineered by Fernando Mendoza.
I love that kid.
He's going to look really good in black and gold
He's going to look awesome in black and gold next year, Hanny. I need it right now.
That is a touchdown drive when Indiana absolutely had to have it. They got the ball with a little under 2 minutes to go. They go the length of the field, and this spectacular toe tap for the touchdown. This is going to stand, and they will have the lead with 38 seconds to go to kick it back to Penn State's 26-24 conversion to come. LeBear's countdown to kickoff, 4 hours and 14 minutes. We'll take a break. We'll come back and get you up to date on everything that's going on in college football today. From Rouse's, this is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized, it'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. The Epic Paving College Football Scoreboard. Epic Paving, Louisiana's preferred paving vendor.
The touchdown stood 27-24. Indiana leads Penn State. 35 seconds to go. Nittany Lions with the ball on their own 35-yard line. They have one timeout remaining as they try to get into field goal range here to extend this game. Other games in progress are wrapping up in Lubbock. Number 8 Texas Tech leads number 7 BYU 29-7. Minute 22 to go there. This will be the first loss of the season for the Cougars. 2 minutes to go. Southern Miss leads Arkansas State 27-21. They're just starting the fourth quarter at Purdue. Number 1 Ohio State in command there, 27-3. The Buckeyes lead. Number 6 Ole Miss leading the Citadel 42-0. That game is early in the fourth quarter. Liberty leads Missouri State 10-7. That game is at the end of 3. Eastern Michigan leads Bowling Green 17-14. Halftime score, UAB leads Rice 17-14. Middle of the second quarter, Maryland and Rutgers are tied at 7. Late in the first quarter, Delaware leads Louisiana Tech 3-0. Middle Tennessee leads Florida International 7-0. UTEP and Jacksonville State are tied at 7. East Carolina leads Charlotte 14-0. FAU leads Tulsa 10-0. And they have just kicked off at UConn, Duke and UConn. earlier finals today. Number 5, Georgia beat Mississippi State 41-21. Gunnar Stockton threw 3 touchdown passes for the Georgia Bulldogs. SMU beat Boston College on Red Bandana Day up at Chestnut Hill. 45-13 was the final. Kevin Jennings threw 3 touchdown passes for SMU. West Virginia beats Colorado 29-22. It was the first start for Julian Lewis, the freshman from Colorado. He had a reasonable day, 299 yards and a couple of touchdowns, but the Buffaloes come up short there. James Madison beat Marshall 35-23, and Army nipped Temple 14-13. Coming up here at the 2:30 window, these games are getting ready to kick off. Number 3, Texas A&M at number 22, Missouri. Musso, Jimmy makes a point about A&M's got a game to play with. This feels like it could be possibly a letdown spot here.
It's their 3rd straight game away from Kyle Field as well. I mean, people talk, I know they had the bye week in between. You talk about back-to-back road games in this conference. This is technically 3 in a row. But, man, that defense that Mike Elko's got going right now, I really like it, especially the front.
Number 9, Oregon is at number 20, Iowa. 43 degrees and rain at Kinnick Stadium this afternoon. Syracuse is at number 18, Miami. Kansas is at Arizona. Iowa State at TCU. 3 o'clock on the SEC Network. Auburn is at number 16, Vanderbilt. And we talked about tough stretches. Vanderbilt is at the end of one here. Auburn, interim coach today, DJ Durkin.
Yeah, for sure. And look, I mean, I think they're going to come out. They're going to play energized, absolutely. They'll be fired up, new voice, all of those things. I mean, Durkin's been a head coach. He knows how to rally the troops. Their defense hasn't been a problem. I just don't know if you're all of a sudden going to fix your offense. I don't think you will. I like Vandy's defense, and Vandy's been really, really good at home.
Kennesaw State is at New Mexico State, and Georgia State's at Coastal Carolina. 3:30 kick. Number 23, Washington, is at Wisconsin. 2 coaches here. Luke Fickell, they came out and said he will be back next year in what seems like a financially motivated decision. And what do you know about Jed Fish at Washington?
Well, let's see. He was at Arizona. He went to Florida. He's a pretty darn good coach. I like Jed Fish.
I somehow think his name is going to be in the news.
Yeah?
Yeah, next month.
Okay.
Just keep your eye
Yeah,
on
I would imagine that's a fair assumption.
Stanford is at North Carolina. Don't look now, but the Fighting Belichicks are playing better, especially on defense right now. They are a little bit better than a touchdown favorite. Texas State is at UL Lafayette. That's a 4 o'clock kick. 5 o'clock for Air Force at San Jose State. 6 o'clock for Wake Forest at number 14, Virginia. 6 o'clock kick also for Cal at number 15, Louisville. Florida State at Clemson. That is a 4-4 Florida State team against a 3-5 Clemson team, in case you were wondering.
Man.
Navy, who lost for the first time this season last week, is at number 10, Notre Dame. 6:30 kickoff there. Also a 6:30 kickoff for Florida at Kentucky. Nevada at Utah State. 8 o'clock from the Rose Bowl. Nebraska is at UCLA, who has cooled off after they got their interim bump. UNLV is at Colorado State at 8:30. 9 o'clock, Sam Houston is at Oregon State. And the late game on the island, San Diego State is at Hawaii. And that is a 10 o'clock here local time start. We're here at Rouse's. Let them cover your game day spread. Get all of the fixings. And, of course, for Thanksgiving as well, coming up here in just a couple of weeks. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll have our scouting report on the Alabama Crimson Tide. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's. One love. Let's go.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Scouting Report. Presented by Demco. Providing safe, reliable, and competitively priced energy services to co-op members since 1938.
Rolling along, Eagle 98.1 Game Day, live from the Rouses on Burbank and Lee. LSU, Alabama, it's finally here, and boy, do we need football to watch involving the Tigers after the last couple of weeks. Let's go ahead and get a scouting report on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Drew Fabianich, the executive director of the Panini Senior Bowl, joins us here on the Hooters Hotline. Drew, we appreciate the time as always, my man. How are you?
Good, Matt. How are you guys doing?
We're making it. Glad there's football here today. Glad LSU will strap it up, play a game. It'll be a nice distraction from coaching changes and governors and presidents and ADs and all of that. I would kind of just like a thought from you. You've been around the game plenty, coaching, scouting, recruiting, all of that. And just from a, an outside view, what it's been like for LSU since they fired Brian Kelly after the Texas A&M game.
Well, I was kind of surprised the governor got involved and made statements, but, that's up to him and it's his prerogative to do so. What people don't realize when you make a change like that with, staffs that probably have multi-year contracts. I mean, most of those assistants have like 2-year deals now, and the support staff does too. So, that $53 million, ends up being about, after you pay the, 80 to 85 support staff off, you can pack another $5 million onto that. You're going to lose half of your recruiting class. So you're going to have to go, spend more to get less to kind of catch up. And the portal's going to cost you more too, because, people are going to leave. I mean, the people are going to jump in the transfer portal. And, when you're shopping in the portal, I mean, it gets expensive when you get desperate. So better find some way to manage that really well before it all falls apart. And hopefully they get somebody, intact quickly. And they've got somebody that knows what they're doing as far as a GM with that head coach where they can work together.
Alignment, very important. And one thing that's been said around here really since, they fired him after the A&M game was the new era of college football has changed a lot. It's also never been more expensive to, make staff changes and blow out a whole regime. That's what LSU's tasked with. The other thing they're tasked with is going in to Tuscaloosa with Frank Wilson leading the helm, trying to pull off an upset over to the rival Alabama Crimson Tide. Let's go ahead and dive in to Kalen DeBoer's squad. We're going to start on the offensive side because they've been one of the best in the country, and it starts with Ty Simpson. Drew, every year around the draft and around college football, you always see a guy really rise, really kind of burst out of nowhere onto the scene. I don't think there's a better example of that than Ty Simpson so far this year. He has been wildly impressive.
Well, what's good about what he's done with college football is he's been patient, and he's learned the system. He understands the culture. He waited his turn. He's a coach's kid. I mean, he knows the game. What they've done is what Ryan Grubbs did is he took advantage of what Ty does best, And, he's making good decisions. I mean, high percentage rate on, his pass completions. I mean, low percentage, low TD to interception ratio. I mean, not a lot of picks thrown, really making good decisions. What he's really done well is third and fourth down conversion rate. I mean, he's been really, really effective there. And he's shown a lot of moxie, and he's shown a lot of, stones, as we call it, making some of those throws on those fourth down situations. I'm a little surprised at just how well. I wasn't surprised that he was going to be successful. I'm lucky to know his dad. His dad and I have known each other for a long time. He's actually coaching at UT Martin, where I used to be the defensive coordinator there. And Jason and I go way back to where he was coaching at UT Chattanooga. So I'm not surprised at his knowledge and just the wherewithal that Ty's had. But what really impressed me was the patience of, doing things the right way and going through the process the right way.
How would you describe his running ability? Because, I mean, look, that's obviously something that's given LSU problems, especially the last 2 weeks against Vanderbilt at Texas A&M. I know he's not Marcel Reed and Diego Pavi. He's not that dynamic, but this is a guy who's a big body, and he's got some athleticism there and has hurt some teams in certain situations.
Well, yeah, and when your back's turned to the quarterback, I mean, and you don't stay in your pass rush lanes, you don't have pass rush, lane integrity. I mean, he can make you pay. I mean, is he a run threat? No, I mean, they don't use him that way. I mean, he's more of an escape, and he's going to, make something happen with his legs when he has to. I think he'd prefer to scramble, buy some time, climb in the pocket. But again, I like what he's doing, and I like how they're protecting him, because the more you put the quarterback run game in, the more chance you got to get somebody hurt.
Would Cade Klubnik be a good comp there with his ability with his legs?
Cade's probably a little faster.
Okay.
He's probably a little bit more dynamic as a runner. But again, pretty close. I mean, but again, they were using him more in the run game than, when Ryan Grubb's doing with Ty Simpson. So I think it's a good comparison physically and trait-wise. But like I said, I think Cade's a little bit faster and a little bit, quicker.
Let's talk about Jeremy Bernard. He's the leading receiver for the Crimson Tide, and in his another year in this system under Kalen DeBoer. And man, he really feels like he's just taken a jump. I know the numbers might not be quite on track with actually what he put up a year ago, but it just looks so much smoother. He just looks so much more comfortable to me. But what have y'all seen from Bernard here in 2025?
What I've noticed is how strong he is with the ball in his hand. I think he's gotten stronger. His rack has been better than it was last year. He's using his body real well against defenders. I mean, you say guys don't push off, but they'll lean into guys. He uses his size to his advantage, and he's a good 50-50, ball guy, which, when you're a quarterback, I mean, that's great because, if you feel comfortable, we always call it quarterback friendly. If he's quarterback friendly, I'm going to throw the ball whether he's covered or not, and he's going to come down with the ball. But like I said, I think I'm more surprised with just how good he is with the ball in his hand this year. I think he's better than he was last year.
He's certainly been impressive, especially since it's been a little bit of a slower year for Ryan Williams in his sophomore season than I think many expected. We're talking with Drew Fabianich, Executive Director of the Panini Senior Bowl, with us every week on Eagle 98.1 Game Day for our scouting report. You can get him on Twitter at @DFabe_SB. And, of course, the Senior Bowl on Twitter X @Senior Bowl. Let's flip sides of the ball, Drew. And, look, I'm just going to leave this pretty open-ended for you because as you and I kind of talked about off air, Bama's playing great team defense. They've really taken strides under Kane Womack so far in 2025, especially since that opener against Florida State. Risers, guys standing out on that Bama defense.
Probably the riser would be probably Foster at linebacker. He's picked it up, and his stock has gone up immensely since the start of the year. I like what he's been doing. I mean, as far as Sapp and, and Overton and then, having Tim Keenan back, I think having Tim Keenan back inside has really been a help for them because he's one of those guys that takes two and helps those linebackers out. The safeties have been effective. I mean, again, I think Hubbard's maybe leading the SEC in interceptions. He's been opportunistic. I mean, like I said, Sapp has been good. I mean, you know, Jackson has been a little up and down, but he's got great skill set and he's got the speed to match receivers. So, I mean, I think that they're going to match up pretty well across the board. And what I like what they're doing is they seem very assignment sound, and they're also flying to the ball. And if one guy misses, at least there's 4 more there to make a tackle. There's not a ton of missed tackles by them now. From that first week to now, I just see a more disciplined, physical, fast defense. But they're playing fast because I think they know what they're doing.
Talked about the balance they have. Is there one level of that defense that you would look at and say that's their strength?
Probably the front. I mean, the front 4, well, really the front 5, if you want to, count it that way. I think that's where their strength is with like Overton and, and Keenan. And, the backers are solid. The ends and outside backers are playing really well. They're young guys. And now they're starting to pressure the quarterback, and he's actually sending more than 3 a lot of times. So he's going to put some pressure on Garrett.
LSU's offensive line obviously has been a hot button issue all season long, and that is, again, one of the matchups to keep an eye on against Alabama, and one that has a lot of people here pretty uneasy about. Drew, we appreciate the time. As always, my man, it's always great insight, and we only have a few more of these left so far in this season, but it's definitely a new era right now with LSU football, and we look forward to doing it again when the Tigers welcome in Arkansas next week.
Well, thank you, Matt. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Again, that is Drew Fabianich, the executive director of the Panini Senior Bowl. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day, live from the Rouses, Burbank, and Lee. We continue to count you down to LSU, Alabama, Saturday night in Tuscaloosa. Stick around. More next.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Recruiting with Shay Dixon from On3 Sports. Presented by WCK Foundation Repair. WCK Foundation Repair. Support your home team.
Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day. It is 40 degrees. It is raining hard, and I was running toss lead, baby. It's November.
As
football.
the good Lord intended, Hanny.
Somewhere Jacob Hester is smiling. We bring in Shay Dixon from On3, the Bengal Tigers. Shay, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well. Happy game day to you guys, Charlie.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks since we talked to you, and it feels like it's been probably closer to 2 months. Shay, what has been the reaction of the recruits that you have talked to, committed or otherwise, to the firing of Brian Kelly?
Gosh, to drive that point home, Charlie, I was thinking before I came on today, because you're a pro, and if people don't know, Charlie doesn't reach out or anything like that to say, what are we going to talk about? He's done enough recruiting in his day to figure it out. And what came to mind was just guys who were visiting places this weekend. The whole idea of these recruits remaining committed through the Brian Kelly firing feels like months ago. But yes, just 2 weeks ago, the news breaks, and they have yet to have a decommitment still to the state, Charlie. And in fact, they added a commitment the day after Kelly was the announcement was made that he was fired, and they flip a wide receiver into the class. They've held on to all the 5 stars like Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson, the D lineman out of Edna Carr, who is one of the best teams in the country at the high school level. So not a huge class. We've talked about that a ton. 17 guys now committed with signing day a month away, but at the same time, still one of the top classes out there pound for pound. So you do what you can to hold on tight right now until December 3rd.
Shay, I've often wondered this, and it's more prevalent now with coaching, interim coaching staffs, or sometimes a lame duck coaching staff. How do they recruit at this point, not knowing who the coaching staff is going to be? I heard Frank Wilson talking about the Power Hour the other day, where they bring all the coaches in and they call all the recruits, but there's a lot of questions that they can't answer. So what's that like for that staff, recruiting, not having all the answers about the future?
I thought that Frank Wilson in his one of his first press conferences, when I had asked about that, had a good answer. And obviously, it's for the reason you say. The staff can't answer everything now. We can speculate if Frank Wilson will be on staff, within the next regime. Will others, Corey Raymond, guys like that, who are notable recruiters with ties to the school and have connections to these recruits, but they don't have the answers yet. So he said the players in the team, Charlie, is that if that becomes a priority, is keeping these guys together over the next month, those guys talk to the recruits more than the staff does. So when they call up the players they're friends with and buddies with and say, what's the vibe? And they say everything's great and we're good and we're moving in the right direction. It's kind of holding you off at least through the next month. And if you're not naming a coach, kind of that right after the season ends at the end of November, this early signing period gets there in a hurry on December 3rd through the 5th. So I think that sort of is one of the reasons I would put as to why interim head coach with Frank Wilson as the title makes sense.
How does Austin Thomas's role figure into this during this, let's call it a transition period?
I think you're probably doing a bit of everything here, whether that's day-to-day priority of now having a new head coach, so pivoting to Frank Wilson and kind of how he wants to operate things, and we've all already seen him shake a number of things up. So he's got his hands in that, and look, we're not far from the portal, which, that personnel staff is digging in deep on kind of watch everybody. It's almost like recruiting where in case this guy goes in or there's buzz this guy might go in, you've done a deep dive before it ever happens, and then you get into the booster side of things or NIL and fundraising and get into the search for a new head coach with, as Verge's interim AD or permanent AD, I should say now, that he's going to tap into the GM of the team who kind of knows the lay of the land in college football as well as anyone. So I'd imagine of everyone, Charlie, he's probably one of the ones a lot on his plate right now.
I could mention that he worked for Lane Kiffin at multiple stops, but I wouldn't do that. I just thought, maybe might come up at some point. I don't know, Musso.
No, I don't think you're crazy. Look, everything's on the table in a coaching search. That can happen.
Thought I would
That can happen.
Thought I would throw that out there. So Shay, what does this do for the upcoming 2 weeks? I'm going to kind of jump ahead here a little bit as far as visits over the next couple of weeks, and not just the class for next year, but the 27 kids as well.
Yeah, still one commit for that 27 class, and look, they'll push to get guys on campus. And right now, with a lot of guys not committed, you come in town, and obviously Frank Wilson's putting a premium on recruiting as always. So that's not going to be a stone left unturned here, right? Like Much when Orgeron was interim, that was sort of not something you really press the panic button on. And look, it's tough for them to pitch guys to get on board, given they don't have those answers, which is the same spot Auburn, Florida, these other teams are in that have committed guys, whether looking around or not, just don't know what the future holds. But I think in the meantime, you get all your committed guys and future targets on campus, and the more they're just around the program, even through a transition, that's the goal here in the final couple of weeks of home games. And then you kind of see where things go from there. But again, this December 3rd will be here in a hurry, so we've kind of got our eye on did any of these commits make other visits.
Just as a matter of procedure, Shay, everybody that had an offer before Kelly was fired has still got an offer, or would they put any new offers out there, or is that kind of off the table? Or there offers that they're like, okay, well, we gotta hold off on this? Just give me kind of the procedure there.
I think they all stand because by and large, and this isn't a knock on, this is just how most spots work nowadays, Charlie, and you know that with head coaches, that it's the staff, it's position coaches, it's all of them sort of going through boards, and your recruiting coordinator, who's now your interim head coach, and Frank, is sort of the people that sign off on all that. So I haven't seen them, beyond adding a commitment, hand out many offers, but again, it's not that they can't, right? It's just more of an evaluation thing and where you're at with only 4 or 5 weeks left until signing day.
The calendar makes this challenging. You mentioned December 3rd. They have gone down to one portal window in January. So when Verge Osbury was asked if they were willing to wait into January with a team that was in the playoffs, maybe even deep into the playoffs, he said yes, that was something that they could do, that it wasn't off the table. So I'm going to ask you to speculate a little bit, Shay, because it is a different calendar for the first time. But what would happen, in your opinion, if LSU waited on a coach until the middle of January?
I think that you've got to, in your mind, move past that high school signing period, right, Charlie? You just say, hey, look, we've got 17 guys. We've got one of the best blue chip, top 5 in the country ratio classes. So we're fighting pound for pound here with nearly 20 commits that are really talented. So, look, you hold on to those guys, yes, through a coaching change, by and large, yes. And then you feel even better on it if you say, well, we don't have a head coach, but we have Frank Wilson as interim. That's not one I worry about. It is the second level of it, which is, look, play that game. The quarterfinals are what? The opening round is mid-December. Quarterfinals, as you note, you're going out at the 1st of January and New Year's Eve. And if you so happen to be a Final Four team left standing, you're into the playoff, into the portal window. And that's, for me, you have to think of both, yes, keeping players on your roster, not entering the portal, but also setting up to host guys who these top portal targets that LSU goes after are getting courted by a lot of teams, and most of them, if not all of them, will have a head coach and staff in place. That's the worry part for me. But, look, I'll side with Verge on that. Go find the best head coach for LSU football.
And, you said nobody has decommitted. Do you get the impression that those kids would sign if LSU did not have a coach in place in December?
I say that, but look, I'm not in that position, so I don't know if they're going to ultimately say yes. I'm just in it for LSU.
Probably not a fair question for me to ask, to be honest with you. I mean, how could you know? I'm just asking for your opinion.
No, I think that guess the thing to watch now becomes the forgotten signing day, Charlie, the one you and I used to care about, is you can just say I'm waiting until February, and then I'll know who the head coach is, and I'll know kind of where everything is, and I may just tell y'all, look, I'm good to go in January, whatever. I could maybe sign late, early enrollee, all that, but not sign until February, navigate it some way through a coaching change where you're able to kind of press pause and then commit, get on board, plan to sign for that next period.
Am I being nostalgic, or is there anybody else that thinks maybe they had this right in the first place, that maybe signing date was right exactly where it was supposed to be in the first week in February, and given where the transfer portal is now, and given that how deep the playoffs run, and given how many coaches are being fired in season now, that hey man, maybe you had this right to start with. Maybe signing date, the only signing date, should go back to the first week in February.
Did they not know that we drink beer at 6 a.m. and let our entire PTO day, well, for me, us working, Charlie, but we can enjoy it from the fan perspective here. Let an entire day, week, however long, be ruined by the decisions of 17-year-olds. I mean,
don't let anybody tell you that beer and donuts don't go well together. Okay,
Hey,
that's a fallacy.
A tailgate staple of an early game there, Andy. Shay, just to kind of follow up on the no decommitments and decisions and things of that nature, I just want to clarify, there still have not been any visits scheduled elsewhere from LSU's commits, correct?
And now we've dug into the bad news, Moose, right?
Oh.
Bryson Martinez, their highest-ranked offensive tackle, top 100 prospect. He made an unofficial visit to Texas. Now he's locked in an official visit to Austin. The Longhorns are kind of pushing for the Carr kids, too. But look, with Frank's connections to Bryce Brown and that crew, regardless if Frank's around, no Carr kids are going elsewhere. And even then, I would be very surprised if either of them weren't at LSU and signing in that first period. But Bryson Martinez, I think, is the one to watch right now. And look, at LSU needs offensive tackles just as badly as Texas might consider their need to be, but it's not surprising to see guys say, hey, I need to at least make other visits just in case things don't work out at LSU for me through this change. What else is out there? So not a panic button moment, but more so something to certainly monitor.
Anybody out there at that game tonight on Alabama's side, that Alabama has in for visits this weekend, that is also considering LSU?
I was glancing over their visitor list, and they really didn't cross paths a ton this cycle. Now, they've got some 2027 kids out of, whether it's Louisiana or into Mississippi and Alabama, that are juniors that have offers from both schools and kind of have made visits to both schools that will be there. And this past cycle changed it, Charlie, but DeBoer and that staff were recruiting really heavy on the West Coast until kind of this past year rolled through and they buckled down in Alabama, but they haven't really come into Louisiana at all, which is so weird to think. If we're being nostalgic on recruiting, how many conversations do we have about the Saban era in North Louisiana? This, that, and the other. Yeah, for Alabama, LSU. So if we can appreciate a rival coach here, Charlie, thankful for DeBoer, kind of ending the storyline of who's Alabama going to come into Louisiana and try to grab this year.
The Bengal Tiger on 3. Shay Dixon, we always appreciate it. We will talk to you next week when LSU comes home to play Arkansas. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, guys. I enjoyed it.
Bad weather in the Midwest. Rain, both Missouri and Iowa with inclement weather, and it's made handling of the football a little bit treacherous. Bad snap for Iowa that ended up resulting in a safety on a punt has Oregon out to a 2-0 lead, and A&M and Missouri are scoreless about 9 minutes into the first quarter. We'll take a break here at Rouse's, the LaBerge. Countdown to kickoff time, about 3 hours and 40 minutes. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Parish Construction and Roofing. This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs. From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members, supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Off the bench on Game Day. Presented by Shell. Shell is the rhythm of Louisiana. Off the Bench is heard weekday mornings at 7 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now from OTB, here's Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
Started to watch a little bit of your tape there. Breakdown of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Mm-hmm. Give us a quick report on what you see there in Tuscaloosa.
I see a very good football team. I've texted the group a lot throughout the season saying, I don't like how, because I've been watching film of, other team, Vanderbilt or whoever it is playing. I'm like, oof, Bama's good. Now, I've watched the last couple of games they've played. Of course, they beat Tennessee, then they beat South Carolina in South Carolina, and it wasn't kind of the runaway that we all that I thought it could be. So they really good team. I don't think that anything that they do is necessarily great. I think Ty Simpson's really good. I think he's going to be a Heisman finalist. He's just playing. He makes like a handful of plays every single game that it's like, oh my God, that was a great throw.
Yeah.
Now they don't get guys open everywhere all the time. So sometimes the stats aren't like so eye popping, but he's really good in the pocket. He good pocket presence. Slides instead of scrambles a lot, which is a lot of times in college people will go through their first couple of reads and they try to get outside of the pocket before. He tries to move the pocket with his slide step, which creates some late developing routes. And he's got those good receivers on the outside. I think what we're really going to see, the matchup that's going to make or break this game is going to be on the outside. Our corners versus their receivers. Yeah. They have some really good ones. And the way that LSU likes to play defense is to be aggressive. We like to put Mansour on an island by himself. Yeah. I think we're going to see some fireworks of some matchups this weekend. Win some, lose some. I don't know what's going to happen, but they're number one, they're number two versus Mansour when they get lined up because Blake Baker's going to they're going to man some people up. Yeah. This is one of those weeks. You got rid of a coach. There's an interim tag. This group's got nothing to lose right now, which makes you very dangerous. But guess what you're going to do? You're going to take some risks that you might not have if you have no losses or one loss right now. So you're going to see some man-to-man matchups, and I'm really, really excited. Like when I watch and I'm watching the game, on Saturday and I see a loaded box for LSU on defense, I'm going to be watching the outside because that's going to be some fun matchups because you got future pros on both sides that I think you're going to see some man-to-man matchups, and it's going to be fun to watch. But I look at their defense, and their defense does everything really well. They don't do any one particular thing great, and that's what I've kind of seen all over, like offense and defense side of the ball. They have some great receivers on offense. Their quarterback's great. But on defense, they just do everything very sound. They're very well coached. They have some big defensive linemen. They got number 23. I don't even know his name, but I know jersey
James
number.
Smith.
So he's a pillar in the inside.
Yeah.
They got some big boys that just can't be moved, and they do their job really well. They take up gap. They have really good gap integrity, and they just make it hard to get to the second level for running backs.
Right.
Now, they wear out. There's some teams like Tennessee started having a lot of, they couldn't run the ball early, started having success running the ball in the second half. You have to be committed to it. On the secondary, they're good cover guys. Yeah. They got one guy, number 7, who's a liability. So if you see him on the field,
Deshaun Jones.
Good for you, dude.
What?
You just know all these names. Just throwing random defensive. He's not even a starter. He just comes in every now and then, but he's a liability. So if you see number 7 on the field,
check 7.
Yeah, check 7.
Check 7.
Now he's fast. He's got good straight line speed, but his feet get stuck in the mud when you're breaking. So like any outbreak, and he had a touchdown thrown on him against Tennessee where it looked like Looney Tunes where he gets started.
Oh yeah,
and his feet move, but he's not going anywhere.
His body's not going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. But he is fast, straight line. Yeah, they just do everything well. So they're going to throw a lot of different coverages at you.
Right.
Against South Carolina, they played a lot more single high than they did against Tennessee because of Lenore Sellers just put an extra guy in the box. But quarter halves, a lot of straight cover 2. I didn't see a lot of just straight quarters, which I would love to see as a quarterback.
Check that.
But a lot of quarter half. Against South Carolina, a lot of cover 3. Not a ton of man. But they will. They're kind of like everybody that has a sound defense. They'll bring cover 0 blitz, but it's probably less than 7 or 8% of the time. That's just a guess, though.
Yeah, got the breakdown right now. Alabama plays cover 0 9.7% of the time.
Oh, there we go. I was wrong.
Cover 1 11.3% of the time. Cover 2 24.8% of the time. Cover 3 39.1%. Quarters only 3.4%, and then. Let's see, quarter halves, it is 8% of the time.
Yeah, sometimes their quarter halves is tough to decipher. Like it looks like cover 3.
That's what I was about to say. You think it's lumped into the 3?
Yeah, I think it is, but they do. They play a decent amount of quarter halves. They play quarter halves, and whoever, if you're new to the show, whatever, quarter halves is playing your one side of the field, usually the strong side, the strength of the formation, which is usually to the field, is going to be quarters, where you're corners playing deep, your safeties playing deep, and they each have 1/4 of the field deep. Then they'll play halves to the backside or the weak side, usually to the boundary, which is a corners playing like a cloud coverage where she doesn't get deep, and the safety plays over the top. The safety has the whole deep part of the field there. So quarter halves. We used to call it cover 6.
Yep. Or cover 8 if you.
8 is where it's cloud corner to the field and quarters to the boundary. So, just backwards, reversed.
People do the either addition or multiplication sometimes of quarter halves. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. Anywho, that's what I got.
What about the aggressive nature of the Alabama defense? Did you see anything where they're going to give you something a little bit different look? I know Kane Womack's done that in the past, but I hadn't seen it as much this year.
I hadn't seen a lot of creative looks. They'll do some double A gap mugs where 2 linebackers in the A gaps. You got 2 wide 3 techniques on the defensive line front, which does create some protection issues, but not a lot of creative blitzes off of that. Yeah. It's either they both come or they both drop. But no, not a ton of creative stuff that I saw. Just good sound defense.
Yeah, 5-man pressure 47.8% of the time. Only bring 6, 8.9% of the time. So even if they bring somebody, it's just bringing 5.
Yeah, yeah. Like I've watched it, and I'm trying to I've watched these games a couple of times now, just trying to figure out what would be a good clip to show on the to show on the show. And there's really nothing that sticks out because they don't do anything that's real, like I said, that's real special, just real sound defense. You have to be really disciplined because they're not gonna you're not going to see guys just wide open. But you're going to have opportunities throughout the game to go through your progressions, go through your reads, be creative. South Carolina hit some nice screen routes on them, like big explosive, like 40, 50-yard gains on some screen routes. A couple of checkdowns.
No, don't let LSU see that.
No, they weren't wide receiver screens. Tennessee tried to do that about 10 times in the game for probably a total of, 11 yards.
Yeah.
Maybe. But they got that completion percentage up.
Oh, no 1-yard screens, please.
Tennessee's offense is very similar to LSU's offense. And that's not like a praise.
No. They live outside the hashes.
They live outside the hashes a lot. They do more inside the hashes. Doesn't take much to do that.
Yeah, you got 2.
Mm-hmm.
If you have 2 plays.
Yep. Yeah, I guess it is a bend, don't break defense. I usually look at that as teams that play like big shell over the top, let you get a lot of – like they'll still press on the outside and make you try to hit them deep. Usually to me, when I think of bend, don't break, it's like the old Chicago Bears when 10 years ago with Brian Urlacher, they played cover 2 like 90% of the snaps.
Yeah.
And they played shell, so they never let you throw it deep. You always had to keep taking checkdowns. Now, people are trying to hit them deep because Tennessee and South Carolina just didn't have a lot of success.
Nothing wrong with taking a check down.
Mm-mm.
It's hard to go broke when you're making a profit.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Children's School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Brack teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Brack, your #1 park system in the nation.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. After further review on Game Day, presented by Alpha Customs. Alpha Customs. Be an Alpha. AlphaCustoms.net. After further review is heard weekday afternoons at 3 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now from AFR, here's Matt Moscona.
Before we bring bring Matt in. We'll give you an update from Columbia. Missouri is trailing now Texas A&M a first quarter touchdown to make it 7-0 Texas A&M. Missouri with the football here as the first quarter winds down. Matt, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, guys. Doing great. How are you?
Doing good. Given what has happened in the last 2 weeks, be it the governor's comments or the president's, misstep, if you will, on his verbiage around the athletic director's job, do you feel like the job search for coach has been compromised in any way, or does it just seem that way?
Oh, I think absolutely it has been. The good news from LSU's perspective is you have a month to fix that. If this had all happened after the Oklahoma game, when you're trying to hurry and make a hire and someone has to make a decision, I think that would give them real pause. But the fact that now you have your university president in place and there is no ambiguity around Verge Osbury, that all of those questions that agents and their clients may have, you can answer over the next month. So, but Verge is a very well-respected guy in these circles. And I think the team that they've put together on the committee around him are more than capable of advising and answering questions and structuring contracts. So they've got time to fix it, but there's no mistaking. I mean, I was even getting calls from agents. I mean, I'm just a radio guy in Baton Rouge, from agents saying, like, what's going on down there? Like, people were trying to get some perspective on all of the uncertainty. So, yeah, I mean, it's fair to say that it had an impact on people.
I've been through half a dozen of these things, and there's one thing I can tell you for sure is that it never goes exactly how you think it will. There's always some curveball that is thrown in. Matt, I know you've only been asked 1 million times, which is about as many times as I've been asked, and probably everybody on our staff has, about who the next coach is going to be. And obviously we don't know the answer to that. But give me your bullpen. Give me your 3, 4, whatever guys that you're like, okay, if I were starting, this is where I would start and why.
So I think I've kind of broken it down into tiers, and I think this is kind of a combination of what I would like to see, but also is the best information I've gathered talking to people, let's say the ones that would be writing checks and maybe making this decision. So I think they have their top tier, which, I mean, anybody would include Dan Lanning, but he said point blank he's not leaving Oregon. Well, I think Lane Kiffin is the primary target. I think that's not just fan chatter. I think that is fair to say that Lane Kiffin will be the primary target for this committee. Now, can they get him? I don't know. We can have that conversation. I think Marcus Freeman is the other in that tier. Remember, Verge's son, Jayden, plays at Notre Dame, and so there is a relationship there whereby I think that Marcus Freeman would take that phone call as a courtesy. I don't know that he would leave Notre Dame. So if you get past that tier, I think the next tier consists of names like Eli Drinkwitz or John Sumrall or Clark Lee, sitting head coaches that might make the jump. And then I think you have to make a decision. Like, Eli Drinkwitz is an interesting name, but consider he's making $9 million in Missouri right now. Are you willing to pay Eli Drinkwitz $11 million a year to come be your coach? I'm not. That's not interesting to me. I think, like, John Sumrall would be a better fit. And then I think you get to the next tier, which – might be elevated if you can't come to some financial terms with that middle tier. And I think that's where you talk about Joe Brady and Kelvin Shepard and guys who might be maybe the coordinator hires who might be more interesting in that tier.
One name you didn't mention is Jeff Brom at Louisville. I think he's interesting for a few reasons. Number one, he's won at 3 different stops, and he had a winning conference record at Purdue, which is not the most resource-laden program in that league. He's an offensive guy. He is also in the position where he could go 11. I realize he's at his alma mater. He could go 11-1 and miss the playoff. That could happen. And if your timing's everything, right? If you're 11-1 and you miss the playoff, you kind of got to look around and go, what do I have to do? Do I have to be perfect here? I know he thinks he can win at Louisville, but if you go 11-1 and don't get in the playoff, well, that might give you some pause. What do you think of Jeff Brom?
Well, Brahms, the 11-1 thing would be interesting because, correct me if I'm wrong, but he would end up in the ACC championship game. So at 11-1,
not necessarily. No. There's an undefeated team left, and Georgia Tech has one loss, and the loss for Louisville is to Georgia Tech, so they would lose the tiebreaker. A lot of things have to happen for them to go 11-1 and not get in the ACC championship game. But we're in November, and it is possible. So I just wanted to mention it.
So I know Virginia's undefeated. I don't know that Virginia finishes undefeated.
I don't think they do either. I don't think they do either.
You're right. So I'm not trying to take my eye off the ball. Brahms interesting, but that would be another guy who, if I'm not mistaken, is making, I think, $5 million. There's this group of coaches that are in that tier, and forgive me for keep defaulting to the money. It's hard not to have that part of the conversation, considering what the governor said a week ago and how LSU might be looking to structure this. Yeah, Brahms interesting because he's a proven head coach. Would he be ready to win in the SEC? I don't know. I think that's a fair question that members of that committee would have to answer. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I'll tell you this. My perspective on this coaching search is different than the previous three. I've always sort of taken the perspective of your LSU, you've won championships. There's no reason to take a big risk. Go eliminate variables, eliminate risk, and hire a proven head coach. I just don't think that's necessary anymore. I mean, you just did that. You just hired the winningest active coach in college football, and he didn't manage this era well. So I think you have to hire someone who's proven or who is capable of winning in this era, of being a great coach, a player's coach, that can go with the ebbs and flows of what's going to be an inevitable roster turnover that feels more like an NFL model. So while you're right, Brahms won in multiple places, I just don't think that matters as much now as it might have pre-NIL portal, et cetera.
All right, so you said you keep defaulting back to the money. So you know what I want to ask you about? I want to ask you about the money because I'm hearing I'm hearing two different things here. I hear the governor saying that the next contract should not be as lengthy, that it should be more incentive-based. And then I hear Verge Osbury say, we are going to go out and hire the best coach that we can. Well, if those two things are mutually exclusive, then fine. But if you do start with Lane Kiffin, he's not coming at a discount. In fact, I think – I've said this on the show. I think Lane Kiffin will be the highest paid coach in college football next year. I just don't know where. Matt, what do you think the next LSU football coach's contract is going to look like? Because Jimmy Sexton is having himself one hell of a silent auction right now.
No doubt. And so Kirby is the highest paid coach at $13.3 million.
I think Kiffin's coming over that.
I agree. I agree with you, by the way. So I think this is – I want to be careful with so I'm not like pegged against a wall on this, but I have had conversations with a lot of folks about how they might structure a deal.
Yeah, we're just talking. It's just me and you. We're good. Go ahead.
Right. So if they did a deal with Kiffin, I think they would look at $14 million a year over 6 years. So you'd be looking at 6 years, $84 million, 14 per, with the assumption that it wouldn't be less. Like Lane wouldn't be fired without cause inside of 4 years. So if you made it 4 years, and let's say it went terrible and you fired him after 4 years, then you're looking at a $28 million buyout. Now that's still a big number, but that's not nearly as big as $53 million. And then you're also looking at, okay, well, what does the market look like 4 years from now as it keeps getting reset? Not that dissimilar from the quarterback market in the NFL, right? Mahomes signed his, $40 million a year, whatever it was. Well, that keeps getting reset. Lamar gets his deal. Josh Allen gets his deal. It just keeps getting reset. Similar with the coaching market. So if they remember in the state of Mississippi, they can't sign, public employees can't sign a contract for more than 5 years. So now it keeps rolling over every year. So in theory, like if you were to give Kiffin a 6-year contract at 14 per, I think that's something he'd consider to come to LSU.
Yeah. How do you feel? By the way, those contract parameters and stuff. Some of the laws that you run. One of my favorites was I think Jerry DiNardo's salary to coach the football team was $100,000, and he got $400,000 to do his coach's show to get around the fact that you couldn't make more than the president. You remember that law? You could. The football coach couldn't make more than the president. Yeah.
Brian Kelly's quote unquote salary, I mean, just because of all this stuff I just read through his contract, his salary quote unquote was $400,000.
Yeah.
So like I mean, back to the point about with the governor and everything. I mean, of course, TAP and booster money pays it all, but anyway. But yes, it's funny manipulating a verbiage.
Verge Osbury said that they would be willing to wait. This is the interview he did with you. That they would be willing to wait if necessary. How do you feel about LSU waiting for a coach into the latter stages of December or even into January? How much damage would that do, in your opinion?
Depends who the coach is. I mean, if you have a, and I don't even know, like, let's just take, because I think the one we'd probably be talking about is Lane, right?
Yeah.
If Ole Miss makes the playoff and they keep winning, and for those who aren't familiar, the new December signing period starts December the 3rd, and the 1 January portal window is the beginning of January. So if let's say you're waiting on Kiffin and they win 2 playoff games, you're going to miss the December signing period and the portal window waiting for your new coach. So that's when someone like Austin Thomas and Frank Wilson become paramount. But can you have any type of formal agreement, or is it just a wink-wink handshake? And then could you actually get that person to leave? Like, that's where I think if you do wait, like let's say hypothetically you want to wait for Lane that goes beyond the January signing period if he keeps winning in the playoff, and you miss there, then I think you pivot to your NFL guys. That's when I think you would pivot to Kelvin Shepard, to Joe Brady, if that's the way that they ultimately went. Look, you got to have your target, but you've got to have a plan B and C in case you pivot. I mean, I think this is what happened 4 years ago when, I think they were pushing hard for Lincoln Riley and quickly, pivoted to Brian Kelly and got that deal done. So I think that's going to be the interesting part of this. But yes, I do think that they would wait for the right guy, and the right guy I think would be Lane Kiffin.
Hey, if you wanted to, I think you could probably hire Lincoln Riley now. Maybe 4 years ago you couldn't. I think you could probably hire him right now. Hey, Musso, remember earlier when I reminded everybody that Austin Thomas had worked for Lane Kiffin? You know who else worked for Lane Kiffin?
Who else worked for Lane Kiffin?
Frank Wilson.
He did.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah. Just thought I'd
that
bring
happened.
that up. Because what if that's the last question, man? What if, and you kind of answered it already, but what if you're waiting on Lane Kiffin? What if they won the whole thing?
Yeah.
Would he walk out the door, straight from the trophy presentation to the parade to the plane that takes him to Baton Rouge? I mean, it just doesn't play. I guess it could happen. After the last 2 weeks, I'm not sure I'm going to take anything off the table.
They would lose their mind up there.
Seems a little bit far-fetched, if you will. Anyway, but so does Ole Miss win the national championship.
Exactly. Yeah, touche.
Remember, Kalen DeBoer coached in the national championship game and left.
That's true.
So
he did.
That's true.
It's not completely unprecedented.
You think if they'd have won, he would have left?
How about that?
I mean,
man,
I guess. I really don't know.
I mean, Harbaugh left for the NFL, but he also had all the sign stealing sanctions and everything around him there. So, I mean, that's also not apples to apples.
Scone, let me ask you a football question since it's a football pregame show and all. What do you think? Yeah. What do you think about the game tonight?
I think it's going to be a really close ball game that probably looks a lot like the Clemson game. And I think you'll be in a one-score game in the fourth quarter with a chance to win it. I just trust. I mean, Ty Simpson's been great this year, and Garrett Nussmeier hasn't. And you're on the road. So if you ask me which quarterback do I think makes a play in the fourth quarter to win it, I think it's Ty Simpson. So, but I do think two things. I think number one, it's pretty evident there's a lot of buy-in. A lot of players I've talked to this week on and off the record, they really want to win for Frank Wilson. They want him. The players love him, and they want him to get this job, and they feel like they can have some ownership of that. So I think they're going to play really hard. And then number two, I absolutely think that the talk about running the football is not just lip service. I mean, your head coach is the running backs coach. Your offensive coordinator is an offensive lineman. Like, they are going to run the football. I don't know if they're going to do it successfully, but they're going to run the ball 30, 35 times tonight and try to shorten this game. I think it's going to look a lot like that opener against Clemson did. So, fast pace, low scoring, see if you can make a play in the fourth quarter to win it.
All right, Matt, check in with you after the game. Appreciate it, and enjoy the evening.
All right, guys. Take care.
Our LeBears countdown to kickoff just about a little over 3 hours right now here at Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool in crisp, refreshing.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. The Epic Paving College Football Scoreboard. Epic Paving, Louisiana's preferred paving vendor.
Missouri, where number 3 Texas A&M leads number 22 Missouri 7-0. That game about halfway through the second quarter. And in Iowa City, Oregon leads Iowa 9-0. They got a safety on a bad snap on a punt and a touchdown run. Although Iowa is now down inside the 5-yard line with a chance to get this thing a little bit closer. Just under 6 minutes to go in the first half there. Rice leads UAB 24-17. That's a fourth quarter score. Third quarter score. Rutgers leads Maryland 21-17. That is early in the third quarter. Halftime score: Delaware leads Louisiana Tech 9-7, and Florida International leads Middle Tennessee 21-17. Jacksonville State leads UTEP 20-13. Those are all halftime scores. As is Florida Atlantic and Tulsa. FAU leads that one 31-6. In the second quarter, East Carolina leads Charlotte 35-7. Number 18 Miami leads. Nope, I'm sorry. That game is still scoreless. 5 minutes to go to the half. Syracuse and Miami. UConn leading Duke 17-14. 6 minutes to go to the half there. Kansas leads Arizona 14-7 in Tucson. 6 minutes to go to the break. Iowa State leads TCU 6-0. Auburn leads Vandy 7-0. That game is just into the second quarter. Quarterback Ashton Daniels gets a touchdown pass for Auburn to account for that touchdown. Kennesaw State leads New Mexico State 17-0. Georgia State and Coastal Carolina are tied at 14. Just kicked off in Chapel Hill. Stanford and North Carolina are scoreless. Earlier finals today, number 1, Ohio State beat Purdue 34-10. Julian Sand threw for 303 yards and a touchdown. Number 2, Indiana beat Penn State 27-24. Touchdown pass with less than a minute to go for Indiana. What was the difference in that one? A wonderful catch to get the toes down right inside the end line, right in front of the goalpost for the Hoosiers, who moved to 10-0. Number 5, Georgia beat Mississippi State 41-21. 3 touchdown passes for Gunnar Stockton. Number 6, Ole Miss beat the Citadel 49-0. 3 touchdowns for Trinidad Chambliss. Number 8, Texas Tech beat number 7, BYU. Handed the Cougars their first loss of the season. 29-7 was the final. Cameron Dickey ran for 121 yards and a touchdown for the Red Raiders. SMU beat Boston College 45-13 on Red Bandana Day at Chestnut Hill. West Virginia beat Colorado 29-22. First start for Colorado quarterback Julian Lewis. He threw for 299 yards and 2 touchdowns. James Madison beat Marshall 35-23. Southern Miss over Arkansas State 27-21. Army nipped Temple 14-13. Missouri State beat Liberty 21-17. And Eastern Michigan beat Bowling Green 27-21. That is your college football scoreboard. Let Rouse's cover your game day spread and your holiday spread as we get closer to Thanksgiving and then, of course, Christmas. Come here at Rouse's Burbank and Lee. All your tailgating items, all your beer, your wine, your spirits, full bakery, full deli, Louisiana seafood available here as well at Rouse's, corner of Burbank and Lee. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Lockmeyer, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lockmeyer, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day, presented by Super Chevy and Yingling. Opposing media.
Nick Kelly covers Alabama for AL.com. He's on Twitter at _Nick Kelly. Good enough to join us. Hey, man, how are you?
Hey, Matt, good to be with you. Doing well, and watching from afar, certainly taking in all that's going on in Baton Rouge.
Dude, it's been something. But it's so odd. I don't know if you heard the lead-in, but this is, I mean, for a decade and a half, this was like one of the cornerstone games of the entire college football calendar. It has been crickets here this week talking to LSU Bama. What's the vibe like there in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, it feels like it's fizzled some. But frankly, it feels like it's maybe going to be too easy for Bama. And I think that's not a good thing for Alabama because I think there's all this talk that, hey, Alabama's playing well. They won all these ranked games, and LSU is sputtering, and new staff, and Brian Kelly fired. And to me, that just it doesn't maybe bode well for Bama, because if they overlook this LSU team, I mean, there's still talent there, and Frank Wilson could give some energy to this LSU team. And so, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how Alabama handles this from a maturity standpoint.
Nick, one of the interesting things about DeBoer, and I know y'all have talked about it a ton there, but he's been excellent against ranked opponents. His Achilles heel has been when he's a double-digit favorite over unranked teams. What gives there?
I don't know, but I think that DeBoer's probably begging the ranking folks to put just some numbers by the team, or even just put some schedules around the locker room. He just puts a number next to each team they play, because, they do really well in these big games. And that's why I think South Carolina was a big step forward, because that was it was an ugly game. Don't get me wrong. It looked like Alabama might lose it. But the fact that they found a way to win was a step forward, because, to your point, for whatever reason, they don't always handle their business, or they haven't under DeBoer prior to that South Carolina game. So in some ways, it's been interesting, because Kalen and the staff and different people have been talking about, essentially hyping up LSU. Like, hey, they've got some elite receivers, returners, different things that trying to accentuate the good things that LSU has, because, Alabama has overlooked teams at times. And as well as the season has gone, last season they overlooked Oklahoma, and to quote Ty Simpson, they pissed that away and the playoff spot away, even though they were on track.
It's interesting, because you're right. The LSU has talent. They just haven't played well. Let me dig in a little bit here with a few things about Bama that I find interesting. So statistically, they're a lot like LSU in the fact that they're very poor running the football. But at times it feels like I've seen Alabama successfully run the football. So explain to me what's going on there with a team that's ranked 114th nationally in rushing offense.
Yeah, it's not consistent. And it always seems to be that there's something that doesn't work. Like, say 4 guys could block well, but a 5th guy misses his, or he gets blown up on the line. So it always seems like just something is missing in the execution. And now I don't think they necessarily have an ace running back or a home run back, so that doesn't necessarily help. But you don't have to if you block well in the open holes. I mean, Jen Miller's a good running back. He's not bad. But it just hasn't lined up for some reason. And I think at this point it probably is not going to on a consistent basis. So I think you just need enough of a threat of a running game, maybe timely running, to go with what has been at times a lethal passing game.
Well, the passing game that you mentioned is the obvious thing to talk about, because Ty Simpson's been awesome. I think everybody knows 20 touchdowns, just 1 pick. That ratio leads the country. Nick, I don't know that anybody saw this from Ty Simpson. Maybe even the most optimistic Alabama fan could have been hopeful. But, I mean, I don't have a Heisman vote. If I did, he would be my front runner right now. To what do you attribute this just seismic leap from a guy who lost the job to Jalen Milroe, who struggled a lot at times, to a guy that might well win the Heisman Trophy this year?
Yeah, I think in people's minds, just watching from afar, it looks like he went from 0 to 100. But Ty was solid last year in practice, and he had a great spring. And I think that Kalen DeBoer is kind of in a tough spot, because you have the guy coming back who had led Alabama to the Rose Bowl from 23. So you and obviously Jalen was a talented player and did a lot of good things, but he kind of had to go with Jalen Milroe. But at the same time, Ty was behind the scenes really improving and really looking sharp, and had a lot of people optimistic. So I think, to your point, I was not saying, Ty's going to win the Heisman or he's going to be a Heisman contender. But I think there was some thought and some confidence in what he could do, because he was doing it behind the scenes for a while in a situation that was kind of tricky for DeBoer to navigate in his first year.
Nick Kelly's with us, AL.com. He's on Twitter @_Nick Kelly. Give him a follow there. If you flip it over and look defensively at Alabama, it's another thing, Nick, where it looks a lot like LSU. Maybe not great against the run, but really talented on the back end. How would you define how that front 7 has played for Bama this year?
I would say inconsistent. I mean, I think they've had some really good moments, but I think there have been some bad moments at times too. I mean, pass rush-wise, it hasn't been consistent, but I think they are improving. I do think Yante Pierre, he had 3 sacks against Tennessee, and he is on an upward trajectory. they've been decimated at that outside linebacker spot with injuries. They've had one guy who's out for the year, another guy who has missed most of the season. So that hasn't helped. But no, the pass rush is not consistent. And I think you've seen that at times hurt them. And at times the front seven hasn't defended the run well. But overall, I think they have gotten better. I mean, the Florida State game was absolutely the worst. They played on their heels. It was bad. But they have improved. So you don't quite know what you're going to get, but there's some playmakers there. And it's kind of a bend but don't break kind of defense. I mean, you look at Deontay Lawson. He made that clutch forced fumble against South Carolina late in that game. So they'll make plays. They've got some good players, just not maybe that 9-6 kind of LSU Bama defense or that kind of game that you were seeing. Not quite that level.
Brother, I think the only way we ever see that again is just a puke fest of football, like that 3-2 Auburn Mississippi State game years ago, or even Auburn Kentucky this past weekend, that 10-3 ball game. I mean, it would just have to be like that 9-6 game was actually a thing of beauty, which I don't know that we'll ever see that again in football. But
masterpiece, really.
It was awesome. A couple of more for you. So if there is a way for LSU, this offense that struggled so much this year, to find some success against an Alabama defense, where do you think it might come?
Yeah, I think it's running the ball, which maybe LSU fans don't want to hear because, from what I understand, the run game has been inconsistent for the Tigers. But I think teams that have had success against Alabama's defense on a consistent basis has been on the ground. Whether that's a mobile quarterback, whether it's a running game that finds gaps, it's not usually a consistent, getting 5-6 yards per carry every time. It's, okay, big run here, big run there, a lot of stops, and then another big run or something like that. So there are those gaps at times. So LSU's got to figure out a way to create that because, pass defense has been really solid for Bama throughout this year.
How's Alabama in the third phase on special teams?
I think solid. I mean, the kicking game, I wouldn't say it's something that you can feel good about, meaning if Alabama's needing a 48-yard field goal to beat LSU, that's not a spot they like to be in. I mean, Kalen DeVore loves to go for it on fourth down, which in part I think is his aggressive personality. In part it's the kicking game with field goals with Connor Talty has not been consistent and has been a little bit erratic at times. So, they don't quite have Will Riker right now like they had for those, 4 or 5 glorious years where they had pretty much automatic kicking.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. Saban's Achilles heel for so many years, man. Saving them kickers, and then he hit on Reichert there at the end, which was something to see. But in any event, hey, what do you think is the blueprint for Kalen DeBoer to get out of Saturday with a win?
Yeah, protect Ty Simpson. If Ty Simpson has time, I think Alabama is going to have a fairly comfortable afternoon, or I should say evening. But that's been an issue at times. They haven't always protected Ty Simpson well, and if LSU's front can get after Ty, I think that could go a long way toward disrupting this offense. So if the offensive line can protect Ty Simpson, I think it's going to be a tough afternoon, or there I go again. Tough evening for LSU in Tuscaloosa.
You've covered a lot of afternoon games this year. It's interesting. I've watched a lot of Alabama this year because LSU's generally played at night and Bama's played during the day, so I've gotten to see quite a bit of them. But I guess all those old habits die hard. He's Nick Kelly, AL.com. Get him at _Nick Kelly. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the time.
Hey, thanks for having me, Matt. Have a good one.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builder School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgout.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Talkin' Tigers. Presented by Lake Urgent Care. Lake Urgent Care, with 14 locations, caring for communities near you and always available at lakeurgentcare.com. Talkin' Tigers. Offensive line, Braylon Moore.
Yeah, we're high energy. There's no time to be low spirits. We go play Bama. They're top 3 in the country, and we're playing at their stadium, so there's no time for us to be low energy. At practice, we're flying around, we're hitting. We're very high energy right now.
Linebacker, West Weeks.
I think the last 2 games, it's kind of come down to we start pressing. Like, we look up at the scoreboard and we might see that we're down. We're like, all right, we got to go make a play. So somebody's in the right gap and pops the gap, and then the ball is going to end up going right there. So I don't think it's a lack of physicality, or I would say a little bit more execution-wise of that all 11 of us need to trust each other to do our jobs and rather than chasing plays.
Tight end, Trades Green.
It feels like we had this 9-on-7 drill today. We was going at it. Like, there's a lot of chaos. It was so great. It was good for the team.
Offensive line, Braylon Moore.
I would just say there's a big point of emphasis on playing physical and running the ball. Everything starts at the line of scrimmage and the run game. If we can run the ball, it opens everything else up. Our offense has been the most successful when we're able to run the ball. We need to do that.
Linebacker, West Weeks.
Today we had a drill called 9-on-7, which is basically inside running. I like that drill a lot. It's basically good on good, and you know where they're running the ball. They know where you're going to be, so it's who can beat a block and make a play.
Tight end, Trades Green.
So it's like the heartbeat. So right before special teams, they symbolize the heartbeat. They beat do-do, 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 and they get faster and faster and faster and faster. And then the special teams coordinator come in and special teams, ready. It's great. It gets us pumped. It gets us hyped.
Offensive line, Braylon Moore.
Yeah, that was fun. That was probably one of the funnest periods I've had this year, because that's real football. 9 people on defense, 7 on offense, so we're outnumbered. It was harder on us, but, I love the challenge. And, pads were popping today, and there was just such a high energy, and it made it so fun. So I definitely love that they added that to the practice.
Linebacker, West Weeks.
For me personally, obviously not having him out there, it's so much fun to be on the same field as him, but he's working his tail off to rehab and get back right, and he's been running and doing everything right. So hopefully he's able to roll this week, and he obviously plays such a big role for our defense, and he's the guy who's bringing all the energy for us, and we kind of group around him. So if he's able to go this weekend, that'll be great. If he's not, he'll be on the sidelines cheering us on and all, so it'll be good either way for us.
Tight end, Trades Green.
Like any other game, just stay in the moment. Pregame, go out and look around, take it all in, and when game time comes, lock in.
Offensive line, Braylon Moore.
Yeah, he's very calm and collected, but fiery at the same time. Like, he'll come in here and talk, and just be real smooth, and then all of a sudden he's firing, he's screaming, and it just, you know, wakes everyone up. I think we need that, and incorporating different things to just kind of bring up the energy and kind of change it a little bit, and, you know, I really loved it.
Linebacker West Weeks.
I think every time we play these dudes, we want to go out there and play the best game we can play. So I don't think there's much more motivation you can need than LSU Alabama. I mean, how can you not have the motivation for that one?
Talking Tigers. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Keys to the V. Presented by Coors Light. Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment. Choose chill.
Let's talk about some of the keys to tonight's game, Musso. I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about non-football things, so let's talk about some of the football things that LSU needs to do to win the game tonight.
Run the ball first and foremost, Hanny. I mean, I think LSU, you know, Frank Wilson said something on the coaches show, and we can ask Chris about this a little bit later on, but he said something on the coach show Thursday night. He says people, you know, when you don't run the ball, people just automatically assume that you can't. And there's a difference between can't and don't, and they just haven't done it. So I think when you really go back to starting with South Carolina through Vanderbilt and A&M, when LSU has attempted to run the football, they've done really well at it. You can see they have made strides. It just wasn't frequent enough. That's going to change. Alabama, that is their, if you want to call it a weakness, that's their weakness. You threw out the stat earlier. They're kind of right there with Ole Miss in terms of rush defense. Well, look what you did against Ole Miss. you didn't run the football in that game. That's going to change. And if that changes, I think that makes life so much easier on Garrett Nussmeier because he then can attack the middle of the field, which is something he's very good at doing. And you finally get some of these receivers involved. The offensive line does bother me for LSU in this matchup because it's just going to bother me protecting Nuss in every matchup really that remains. Maybe sans Arkansas because their defense is terrible. But it's easy to say, whichever team can run the ball is going to have the most success in this game, but I don't think that's necessarily the case for Alabama because they're kind of like LSU a year ago. They don't need the successful running game to put up a bunch of points because their passing game is just that in sync. They have a quarterback that's just playing on that level like LSU did a year ago when Nussmeier threw for 4,000 yards. So for me, Haney starts on the ground, shorten the game. When LSU's won games this year, they've shortened the game.
The temptation is to think that Alabama is very good at running the football and stopping the run because they almost always are. They really aren't this year. We gave you the stat against Ole Miss's rush defense, okay? Ole Miss's rush defense has been the weak point of their team, and Alabama's number has matched it. Running the football, who's struggled to run the football? LSU, right? Alabama's rushed for all of 12 yards a game more than LSU has. So they have some similar problems there, which leads me, and I agree with you on all the stuff you said about the rushing offense. So on the other side, the biggest thing for me is, can they get pressure on Ty Simpson, who has made very, very few mistakes this year, only one interception, and he has operated at a really high efficiency. He's a good athlete. He's got a good arm. You mentioned draft boards earlier. He's soaring up up those things. And it's not going to be a big upset if he wins the Heisman Trophy. So if you're not going to run the ball a ton, and I don't think Alabama will run it a ton, then how do you generate pressure on Ty Simpson? And, we've been waiting for Harold Perkins to have his, reemergence this year. And you've seen a flash of it here and there. He made that great play to essentially end the Clemson game. But there has been times where he's flat out disappeared. And I know between Richard and I's film study, Matt and Jacobs in the morning, you saw times in the A&M game where he was just flat out lost. So I don't know if it comes from there. I don't know if it comes from someplace else, but they have to generate some type of pass rush against Ty Simpson. I agree wholeheartedly with you there, and that's actually been one of the more surprising things about this LSU team for me, is the lack of pass rush and the lack of sacks. I preseason, we did the station survey thing where Hunt asked for the bowl prediction, whatever. Mine was that LSU was going to lead the SEC in sacks. I thought with everything that they brought in, though, edge rusher-wise, things of that nature. We know Blake Baker he's aggressive. He loves to bring that pressure. Havoc, right? And it was like, man, you have what you have on the back end now. Can you get home a little bit more? I think the mobile quarterback aspect of it between Chambliss, Marcel Reed, and Diego Pavia has really hurt them there, but they're also just their pressures are getting picked up far too much. It's not like they're really fooling anybody, and they're definitely not winning the one-on-one battle. The game against Ole Miss where they ran a lot of delayed blitzes, and they just never did seem to get there. That's been one of the themes a little bit with that lack of a pass rush. We're brought to you by Supreme Rice, SupremeRice.com. In Southwest Louisiana since the 1930s. All of our Supreme Rice grown, milled, and processed in Southwest Louisiana. So you want to give it a try. Pick it up where you pick up rice. You're going to get more for your food dollar. You're going to be supporting our Louisiana farmers as well. And the Climate Smart program, which reduces methane emissions and promotes water conservation, is something that Supreme Rice believes very deeply in. So with the holidays coming up, if you're making anything with rice, and going to be cold on Monday, right? You want to make a gumbo? Make a gumbo on Monday. Make it with Supreme Rice, the brown, the long grain, the medium grain, the jasmine, and the restaurant quality parboiled rice. Also, the low glycemic rice is perfect for diabetics. You can pick them all up wherever you buy rice, including right here at Rouse's. For more information and great recipes, go to SupremeRice.com. We'll take a break, come back, and check in back in Tuscaloosa with Chris Blair, the voice of the Tigers. That's next. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, They've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Inside the stadium. Presented by Louisiana Federal Land Bank. Louisiana Federal Land Bank. Financing all things country.
Bears countdown to kickoff, 2 hours and 30 minutes for LSU and Alabama. We go back to Tuscaloosa now, and we talk to the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair. Chris, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, Charlie. Yeah, I'm about to roll into T-Town as we speak.
I always ask you on these road trips, kind of like a trip report, kind of vibe and all that stuff. And I guess it takes on added significance now that Frank Wilson is in charge. Give me a vibe update. How was the trip?
Yeah, the trip was good. I mean, I think they want to keep it loose, Charlie. It's kind of what Frank talked about Thursday night on his radio show. Again, it's a business trip, so they were locked in. But it was, I saw the guys this morning at breakfast. The group that went out early this morning for early walk around. So, I think they understand that they got to play their best game of the year, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like, everybody's on a razor's edge.
When you talk to Frank Wilson, a lot has happened in the last 2 weeks. He is charged with a very difficult job here to take over midstream, and your first game is on the road against a top 5 team in the country in Alabama. Just kind of walk us through your conversations with him and how he's approaching this.
Yeah, I asked him, I thought it was important to say, Frank, you're in the middle of the tornado. Unlike any of us, who have been watching what took place over the last 2 weeks. And he said, my priority was making sure the players knew I and our staff that are here for them. They're here to support them. They're here to answer any questions they may have. He said, we went right head on with that. We didn't try to avoid it. We didn't try to talk about, let's get back to football. In fact, he said the plan originally going into the second bye week was like the first week, have Sunday off and Monday off. He said that after Sunday, following the Texas A&M game, they said, hey, let's come in on Monday. And he said some of it was football, but mostly it was just, guys, we're here, and we're not going anywhere. And he said, and then once everybody kind of got their feelings out, talked it over, any questions, then they went right into football. And he said, I think the guys embraced that. And he said they had 2 really good weeks of practice.
Chris, I'll ask you to make a comparison to the game 4 years ago. It wasn't exactly the same circumstances, but they were similar. Ed Orgeron had been fired. He was coaching out the season, so it wasn't an interim, but it was a lame duck situation. And LSU, Alabama was in the top 5. LSU was a 4-touchdown underdog that night and had a pass to the end zone that would have won it at the end, so the game was very, very close. What do you remember about that? And is there any similar? I know all those guys are gone now, but any similarities to what might take place tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ed Orgeron, even though he was on his way out, was else you got to play for the name on the back of your plate, and that's what I remember about that game. I mean, nobody gave them a chance. Everybody said this will be a quick and decisive victory, and it wasn't. And frankly, I think that's kind of what Coach Wilson and this staff are kind of leaning on now. Like, look, guys, everybody, all the national talking heads, they've taken LSU off the table outside of last week and poking fun at the situation. They're kind of done with LSU. So what are you going to get up off the mat? You're going to show some pride. You're going to show some fight. And, it's one of the things that triggered the crowd on Thursday night. He said, look, I don't know what's going to happen. I know that our guys practiced extremely well. We've taken a look, taken a full accounting of the things that we did good through 8 games, and we're going to use those, and we're going to build on those. And everything that we really stunk at, we're throwing in the trash. So everything's on the table that we think will put these guys in a position to win. He said, look, I don't know what the next 4 weeks will look like, but I know for a fact we're going to Tuscaloosa and we're going to fight. And I think if that's the mantra and mindset of this team, then I think there are your similarities to that game 4 years ago.
Chris, we've been talking through most of the show about 2 of the big keys if LSU is going to be successful tonight. And on offense, that means running the football. And on defense, it means getting some pressure on the quarterback. So any thoughts about how some of this might unfold and LSU might try to accomplish those 2 things?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the strength for LSU, Charlie, when I look at it defensively, has been, I think, for the most part, consistently been, DBU, the back half of this defense. And they're going to be challenged by an elite group of wide receivers. And a really good quarterback that since week 1 has put himself in the Heisman talk. And I think right now, if he continues on this pace, we'll certainly have a seat at the table in New York in December. But I think that that's the matchup, because this is an Alabama team that, while they have, run out 7 straight wins and they're undefeated in the SEC, you guys, I'm sure, talked about it. They're doing it a lot differently than they used to. And that's relying on a pro-style quarterback and these receivers where they struggled, I think, in SEC games running the football, not only averaging 119 yards per game. So, I mean, you can't throw out. You got to be able to stop the run defensively. But I think this matchup, we'll see. Does Blake Baker have the confidence? Like, guys, we're going to put you on an island against – the Williams of the world, the Bernards of the world, the Hortons and Brooks of the world. But we've got to be able to try to disrupt or make Ty Simpson uncomfortable. And the only way to do that is to be able to get some pressure. So I think that's where it comes down to. Obviously, the line of scrimmage is always an obvious one. But I think for LSU, can they rely on the back end of their defense to give the front enough time to at least just disrupt things, maybe get them off schedule? To me, that's where the game has been won tonight. And then I think offensively, you got to be able to run the ball. And, that's the other interesting thing. Every time Frank Wilson has stepped in front of a camera and a microphone, he's made no bones about it. We're going to run the football. I know Alex Atkins worked with him several years at Georgia Southern. I think what I'm looking for, guys, is how are we going to run the football? Frank made a distinction earlier in the week. He said, look, there's a difference in can't running the football and not running the football. We're going to run the football. And by that, I think we'll see some different schematic things running the football. I might even suggest we might see, a little toss to the outside. He said Thursday we're going to make them play sideline to sideline and cover every inch of grass. So you may see some power toss. You may see some power eye. I think it'll be interesting to see. This will be a different running style today. And if it is, who knows?
And if we do see all of those different things in the run game. Might that also include the quarterback? And I'm thinking not necessarily Garrett Nussmeier, but maybe a little bit of Michael Van Buren.
I didn't want to give any of the game plan away, so I asked it this way, Charlie, on Thursday. I said, what do you think about a 2-quarterback system? And he just said, when we have guys on our team that can help our team win, we're putting it all out there. So I didn't want him to give away any secrets, but I just don't think they're going to be stuck in their ways. I think they understand that these players want to put good tape out for the next 4 weeks. These coaches, who knows what's going to happen in a month or so, they want to put good tape out. So they just went back to the table and said, what do we have? What are we strong at? Let's do that and build on it. And I think that goes with personnel as well. In fact, he mentioned a couple of newcomers that have played very little. Jace Thomas came to mind, got the block punt on special teams last time out, but he mentioned some guys by name, obviously Harlem Berry, who he's very intimately involved in the recruiting process. So, yeah, I think it's all out there. I'm excited to see what it looks like, when we kick it off here in a few hours.
I know this is not at the top of your mind right now, but I wanted to sneak in a basketball question if I could, because LSU got off to a big start on Wednesday with their win against Tarleton State, and they got UNO coming in on Monday night, who beat TCU last week. So a big win for the Privateers. What did you see Wednesday night for people that haven't really gotten into basketball mode yet?
Well, I think Don Thomas, DJ Thomas, is a legit SEC point guard. I mean, he was spectacular at UNLV. His father was a spectacular college basketball player, so the pedigree's there. And he's legit. I mean, he's a guy that I asked the coaching staff, is he a guy that always wants to facilitate, or when his shot is obvious, it's there, well, he'll take it. They'll say, oh, no, he'll score. So we saw a little bit of that in the opening game. I think the front line for LSU for the first time in a long, long time, I'm talking 5-6 years, looks like an SEC front line. Not only are they 6'10", 6'11", 6'8", but they're 230, 240, 250, 260. And that's what you have to have. And I think that the roster looks like it can compete. They certainly will, get a test, a little more of a test against UNO. But as I told our buddy Hunt Palmer earlier in the week, dude, you could stick 5 guys on the floor and have them shoot for 60 game minutes. They might not shoot 70%. I like the fact that this team at least can put the ball in the cylinder. We'll see if they can do it for the rest of the year.
All right, Chris, what's coming up on Network Pregame here in about 20 minutes?
Well, those guys will be over at Coshada Casino, so just hoping they get there here in just a few minutes, get to the table and get their headsets on. But, they're going to break it down. I talked to Hunt earlier in the week. He was also very interested in everything that Coach Wilson said and how different a looking team will this be. And obviously the guys will have a chance to dig in with Taylor Jacobs, who runs NILSU at LSU. And, that's a big topic. And she sat down with Brian Haldane and basically goes through where LSU is and where they need to go.
That Hunt Palmer, he always seems to be right place, right time. He can play golf before he leaves tomorrow, before it gets ice cold on Monday.
Hanny, they have a tournament. I asked our boy yesterday if he was going to play. He was bummed. He was distraught. Well. I know.
All right, blackjack then, I guess.
Yeah.
I had to break the news to him, so yeah, he was not happy.
Oh well, Chris, you guys have a great call and a safe trip back. We'll talk to you next week when the Tigers take on Arkansas.
You got it, guys. Go Tigers.
All right, Chris Blair, the voice of the Tigers. Our LeBear's countdown to kickoff, about 2 hours and 20 minutes. We'll take a break, come back, get you caught up on everything that's going on in the world of college football. That's next here at Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. The Epic Paving College Football Scoreboard. Epic Paving, Louisiana's preferred paving vendor.
Halftime in Columbia, Missouri. Number 3 Texas A&M leads number 22 Missouri 14-0. Marcel Reed has a touchdown pass and a fumble return inside the 5-yard line. Set up a short touchdown for E.J. Smith, and A&M with a 2-touchdown lead at the break in Columbia. Also at the half, number 9 Oregon leads number 20 Iowa 12-7. Kind of nasty conditions up in Iowa City. Rain throughout the first half and temperatures in the 40s. Been a little bit difficult for the ball handlers. There was an errant snap that Oregon turned into a safety that was on a punt, and the Ducks have a 5-point lead. Also in the Southeastern Conference, Auburn leading number 16 Vanderbilt 20-10. Ashton Daniels got the start for Auburn. He is at quarterback. He has thrown a touchdown pass and he has run for one. And the Tigers interim coach DJ Durkin, they have a 10-point lead.
How about 14 out of 18 for Daniels as well? He's playing well, man.
Really nice start for him. Rutgers, we go to fourth quarter scores. Rutgers leads Maryland 28-20. Delaware leads Louisiana Tech 16-7. Third quarter scores. Florida International leads Middle Tennessee 27-24. Jacksonville State and UTEP are tied 20 apiece. That game is late in the third quarter. East Carolina leads Charlotte 38-22. Florida Atlantic leads Tulsa 31-12. Number 13 Miami leading Syracuse 14-0. That game is just started in the third quarter. Also just kicking off the second half, UConn leads Duke 20-14. Kansas leads Arizona 17-14. Iowa State leads TCU 6-3. Game still in the second quarter. Kennesaw State leads New Mexico State 24-7. Coastal Carolina leads Georgia State 23-14. Wisconsin leads number 23 Washington 3-0. That is early in the second quarter. Same score, North Carolina leads Stanford 3-0 early in the second. UL Lafayette leads Texas State 7-3. And when we go to earlier finals, it was Rice over UAB 24-17. I think that one just went final. Number 1 Ohio State beat Purdue 34-10. Julian Sayin, Heisman hopeful, 303 yards passing and a touchdown. Jeremiah Smith, 137 yards on 10 catches and a touchdown for Ohio State. Number 2, Indiana survived. They beat Penn State 27-24. A late touchdown in the back of the end zone did it for Indiana. Got the toe in right in front of the goalpost, and Musso, Fernando Mendoza drove Indiana the length of the field. They got the ball back with just under 2 minutes to go. They had used all their timeouts to get the ball back. He got a sack on the very first play. They were playing 2nd down and 17. He threw a strike for a first down there, led the drive for the touchdown. He was very impressive in that fourth quarter.
Very, very impressive. I mean, the poise, not just the ability, the poise shows off there. That they put it up there right before the drive. That's now his 4th game-winning touchdown in the fourth quarter. I mean, look, that's a stat you see all the time in the NFL. That's going to be big for him, and I just hope the people on Airline Drive had that game on today.
He looked very, very poised in that fourth quarter. Number 5, Georgia beat Mississippi State 41-21. Gunnar Stockton threw 3 touchdown passes for the Georgia Bulldogs. Number 6, Ole Miss beat the Citadel 49-0. Lacey with 3 touchdowns on the ground for the Rebels. Number 8, Texas Tech handed number 7 BYU their first loss of the season. 29-7 was the final in Lubbock. Cameron Dickey ran for 121 yards and a touchdown. SMU beat Boston College 45-13 behind 326 yards and 3 touchdowns for KJ Jennings. West Virginia beat Colorado 29-22, spoiled the debut for freshman quarterback from Colorado, Julian Lewis, though his individual numbers were good. 22 of 35 for 299 and 2 touchdowns. James Madison beat Marshall 35-23. It was Southern Miss over Arkansas State 27-21. Army beat Temple 14-13. Missouri State over Liberty 21-17. And Eastern Michigan beat Bowling Green 27-21. And throwing a couple from last night, number 19 USC beat Northwestern 38-17. Houston beat UCF 30-27. But it's the other game I wanted to get your take on, which was Tulane beat Memphis 38-32. Sitting in my house, I'm like, this is a distraction bowl. Both of these coaches have been mentioned for a number of jobs. In fact, Silverfield was there was a fake story out on Friday that he had actually taken the Arkansas job. And I don't know if you felt this way, Musso, but over the last 2 weeks, it seems like Tulane had a great first half last night, and then the offense in the second half, nothing. It seems like John Summerall, who I think is an outstanding coach and I think will take one of these jobs, whichever one it may be, Auburn or whichever one, they have looked distracted to me in what I've seen in the last 2 games. They lost last week. It was kind of an ugly loss. They look a little distracted based on – because earlier in the season I thought that looked like a pretty good team. No, it did. And that's what I was going to say about the loss a week ago to UTSA. And look, the Roadrunners are awesome at home. I think they're like 23-0 in conference or whatnot since they joined the American at home. But for Tulane to get embarrassed the way they did, that was surprising. And then, last night, I mean, they were in firm control of that game, had to end up hanging on for dear life. It's intriguing. I'll tell you what, it just adds to a awesome race in the American, to be brutally honest. Between Tulane, Memphis, who are distracted, and USF, I mean, Golish is going to get some looks, too, for head coaching opportunities, I would think, as well. And those are your 3 top teams, and don't forget about Louisville Navy as well there. So, and that just adds another layer of intrigue to that conference race, who, I mean, a playoff team's going to come out of that league. Yeah, unless UNLV. Yeah, the group of 6 now. Yeah. Their representative is likely to come out of that league. Yeah, I agree with you. All right, we are here at Rouse's. Let them cover your game day spread and your holiday spread here at Rouse's with all your beer, wine, and spirits, and all of the food that you can get here. The bakery, the Mongolian grill, the chop house, the chef's collection, the deli, all your Louisiana boiled seafood that you can get here. Where at Rouse's, we want to cover your game day and holiday spread. Back to wrap it up here, Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members, supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp
98.1.
Kickoff here from Rouse's, about 2 hours and 5 minutes. Musso, some final thoughts on tonight's game?
I'm happy they're playing football. I mean, that's really what I've got for you, Han. I mean, these last 2 weeks have been just absolutely insane, and we've talked about everything except football. Are they going to go out there and win? Yeah, I don't know. I think they're going to have a chance. I'm just happy to see them out in purple and gold playing football, because we all know what's going on outside, right, with the coaching search and everything like that. It'll be nice to take your mind off of it a little bit, and I think it'll be easier as well, because I think LSU is going to come out and play really well tonight. I do. Like I said, will it be enough? I don't know. Probably not. Bama's good, and they're probably going to lean on you at the end because your offensive line is just not great, but it'll be refreshing to see, and I think it'll be good for the players and the guys in that locker room too, man, to just get out there. Because, I mean, as focused as they've been, that's some unrest for them as well. Get back to something you know, football, and should be a great atmosphere in Tuscaloosa. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Under a different set of circumstances, we might have spent the last 2 weeks talking about nothing but the A&M film. As it turned out, there was other things to discuss. Yeah. But for the football players, they had to go back in there, and they had to watch that film. And I can't imagine that watching that second half against Texas A&M, they felt anything other than a little bit of embarrassment about the effort that was put out in that second half and how thoroughly A&M dominated them. And just as a matter of personal pride, I think it was Chris that was talking about, hey, they need to put out some good tape, whether they're going to be here or somewhere else. It's much like NFL free agency in that you see guys on 3 and 12 teams in the NFL playing with their hair on fire because they're playing for a job. Well, college football is very much like that now. So I do think that you will see a great effort. Will it be great execution? I can't say. It would take, I think they would have to play I don't want to say over their head because that would imply that they're not capable of it, but they would have to play at a much higher level than they played through most of the month of October, where frankly they didn't play a whole lot of really good football. And if they did, it was short-lived. It was on one side or the other, but not both. It wasn't, before he left, Brian Kelly probably said the term complimentary football 100 times, but for every time they said it, they never actually played it. So for all of those things, I think they go out there and they play hard, but it's still a team that has not executed well. So if they can fix that, if there's a few big plays tonight, then so be it. Alabama, they had their hiccup. It opened the season, and they have looked like those two teams, Florida State and Alabama, since they left Doak Campbell Stadium, I don't think they could have taken any more of an opposite path. They are playing really well. The quarterback is hot. They have all their goals out in front of them. They are in control of their own fate for the SEC championship, for the playoff, and they could win the national championship. I think probably somebody will get them. I don't think this is an Alabama team that is as good as some of Saban's best teams, but they are very, very good, and they're different. They are not
Very different.
They're not the most physical team up front, as Alabama usually is, but it doesn't mean that they're not a really effective offense and that they can't do some things on defense that give you some problems. So for LSU, the one thing I think that one thing that plays in their favor is you heard Gordy say this, you heard Chris say this, I think Jimmy might have said so. There has not been the pressure, the edge on this game. So maybe they go out and they play loose. And sometimes when you do that, it's like, what do we have to lose? What's going to happen? You know, we've already the coach has been fired. We're not going to go to the playoffs. So why don't we just go out here and ruin somebody from Alabama's day? We'll see if that's
a great plan.
We'll see. If
I love that plan.
We'll be with you 90 minutes at the after the end of LSU and Alabama. Former LSU Tiger Richard Dixon will be, of course, my co-host as always, and we'll take your phone calls following LSU and Alabama. From all of us here at Rouse's, everybody back at the flagship, I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you, good afternoon. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
The following is an exclusive presentation of the LSU Sports Radio Network. It's football time in Louisiana. Tonight, the Tigers travel to Tuscaloosa looking